have been here, and the rest of it's been cloudy rain. I mean, all it's done today is rain. It's just been pain in the arse, you know. Got things planned, things you want to do, and then it's just crap. To be honest, but hey, there we go. Never mind. That is life.
Could be worse. It could be worse, Jez. It could be worse. You could be back in England. I'm sure the weather's worse over there. At least you're away from it all. That's why I moved up the mountains last year, man, and I'll never go back to the city, man. I'll never go back. I love it. I love just being away from everything and having the option to sort of venture into town if I have to. But Jez, we're going through some of the nonsense that's being put out there. I know we hate doing it, but we have to sort of point out that, you know, that this fan base are just pandering lies because they're desperate to protect this guy. I mean, there'll be one I'll put up in a bit where they're lying about Odegaard's stats and stuff like that, and people just eat it up as they go along. But do you reckon that Real Madrid were after Mikel Arteta?
No.
That's as simple as that, isn't it?
Right.
Straight to the point. I love it.
Yeah, but it's just facts.
Why would Real Madrid want him?
There's not a hope. There's not a hope that they would want him.
He's failed in Europe twice, where they're proven winners. All right, not this year, but they have been.
Yeah.
This manager can't win a Premier League in 3 seasons of trying. So why would a team with great success, the size of Real Madrid, want to employ this guy? And I'll tell you this right now. They certainly wouldn't give him 15 million a year.
Very true.
No chance, because he ain't good enough. And yet we've got a fan base that will gas it up, protecting him for no good reason, to think that he can actually get us over the line. Well, let's just wait and see till when it comes to August, shall we? Let's just wait and see with what this club and what players come in, because from what I'm seeing, I'm concerned. We're looking at a kid from Genk. From Genk.
Yeah. And Blackburn. We signed some kid off Blackburn as well.
What the hell are we doing here? That kid plays in the same position as Enweri. What's that saying to Enweri? What's that going to do for him? Say he's going to be sitting there thinking, hang on, didn't I prove myself last season? And now you're bringing in somebody else. Wait, is he going to be thinking, is he coming in as a backup to me? Am I going to get regular first team football? Well, if that's the point, then but £38 million, come on, that should be spent somewhere else. And we know what we need to talk about, and we know what we need. But this idiot, and I'm getting concerned here now, guys, about this Berta. I honestly had the belief he was going to come in and sort some stuff out. I'm at the moment sitting here, not getting too worried just yet, but I am getting concerned that is this guy really going to do what he wants, what we want him to do? And what I was led to believe that he could do. I don't know. I'm a bit concerned about it, gentlemen, to be honest.
Yeah, and Jez, we're meant to be looking at his name escapes me, but some world-class scout who's scouted this and scouted that. And as I was saying to Views a few minutes ago, we're going to get in a scout to go look at these players and then just agree with what Arteta wants again. It makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Wanyeri already knows he's not getting this game. You know, and then you have people like Gal saying we have 3 midfielders, we need Zubimendi, and then in the same sentence putting up his team and having Wanyeri in midfield after saying he's not a midfielder to me. We'll go through that later because we just need to debunk these clowns. But just the way this club works is it would give you, like, and Views did have a migraine this morning, it would give you a migraine just trying to work out what they are playing at. I don't know what they're doing, and it's United. It looks like that Gyokeres now is going to settle for them because obviously Chelsea, Liverpool, I'd say he'll go to either of them or Barcelona. And I've been telling people from the start, that guy won't come anywhere near us. Why would a self-respecting forward, and especially a numbers forward, you know that he's one of those guys like Van Nistelrooy. Apparently Van Nistelrooy used to come off the pitch, even if United won 2-0, and they'd be raging because he didn't get one of the goals. You know what I mean? He'd be happy that they won, but he's a bagsman and he wants goals, he wants numbers. And that's great. You need someone like that. Ian Wright would have been the same. Ian Wright would have been, why didn't I score? Why didn't I get that chance? And that's what you want them to be greedy, man. You want them to be devastated he didn't score. So why would a player who's hitting these numbers, and later in his career, my dad, he's what, 26, Gyokeres, isn't he? So he made it quite late. He was playing in the championship at 24. He might have thought, my chance is gone. Then it's here. This is his big move. He's not going to go play under a manager who says, all right, all those runs you were making where you're getting all those goals, I don't want you making them anymore. This is what you have to do. And he's going to think about that. People, 27. He's 27. So people think he's not even, like, this is the way it works. He's not going to want to views. Like, if you were a self-respecting forward, a bagsman, a gunman, I'd rather not have Champions League for one season and hope that I can fire them to Champions League. Plus, it's Man United. You know what I mean? People think that, oh, yeah, Man United are in bits. So many kids grew up supporting Man United, especially like Swedish and, you know, people from other parts of Europe. That's still in people. Like Eze, I think, would turn down teams to come to us because he's an Arsenal fan. You know what I mean? Right. That has to be in there somewhere. But if you were a self-respecting gunman, would you come to Arsenal?
Well, I think we're seeing the proof in the pudding right now. You know, because we still haven't got it done. I mean, you know, we've known what we've needed for years, let alone January just gone. Big up Doctor each and every time. And I hope you enjoyed your birthday, Jez, on Saturday as well, mate.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, these guys should have been identified already. Like I said, I understand that they're finishing their seasons and, you know, there was cup games and things like that. But at the same time, this is what Berta was there for. He got announced after January. Yeah, conveniently, so he didn't have to do any work, right? But what he should have been doing from then until now was trying to make all the groundwork with the new contract renewals and identifying who we're going to strike for. So the moment that this transfer window opens, release the hounds. But of course, no, you know, of course, no. And now after the rubbish season that we've had, you know, drip fed PR the whole way through, because Zubimendi was announced twice, by the way. And now we're saying it's going to be a long summer. So make it out of, you know, make it out of what you will. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I asked in my intervention to have the Arsenal fans been lied to, because season tickets were up for renewal this year. I'm pretty sure the price went up as well.
5%.
You know, so it's funny that, isn't it? Unprecedented summer. You know, I'm so excited. We've got all the plans. We know what we're doing. We know what we need. And here we are, a working week into it, and every other club is making moves and leaving us standing, you know, sitting on our hands, basically. You know what I mean? Everyone's moving forward except for us. Liverpool doing what they should have done the last time they won the league. But you know what? They've learned from their mistakes. They've won the league, and now they're going to strengthen from a place of strength. Man City, they've identified this Rangers guy or whatever his name is, Cherky, 8 Nori today. You know, they started their preseason last season in January, guys. Marmouche, someone else I asked, why are Arsenal not even looking at him? So it's, again, all the talk, and the same old action that we get. It's disgusting, honestly. No, and to answer your question, no, if I was a self-respecting player, especially like Gyokeres, I'd rather go and play for a manager that believes in me, that's used me before, and it isn't going to ask me to make 70-yard runs backwards. Do you know what I mean? So to answer your question, no.
Exactly. And Tops, I want to come to you with this because Fuse hit on a point there that I wanted to get to. The Arsenal PR machine, right? Our fan base, the majority of them are so gullible that they've just gotten lazy, right? They've gotten lazy. I just picture them sitting there going, you know, in January, we need to big up Lawrence. We need to put out some news in January. So, hey guys, what can we do? Well, let's just say we're getting Zubimendi, right, in January. So they put that out. And then come near the end of the season, guys, we didn't win anything. We need some PR. What can we put out? Let's just put out Zubimendi again. They just put out the same story because in January it was on Sky Sports News. Done deal. Everybody got gas. And then when they put it out again 4 months later, everybody started reacting online like this with the same thing. Oh my God, we're getting Zubimendi. And I'm like, about just being in the DeLorean, what's going on? Why are we suddenly getting gas with a story that was already out? And now it looks like we might even get him. So we've announced him twice, so we might even get him. That's what scares me, that apparently we're the 3%. Apparently we're the 3% of people that were disappointed with. I'll just pull this up actually because I've used it before, but it's terrifying to me. I'll be very quick before I come to you. And I know I'm covering people here with it. But we're over here. We're the tiny little skimpy red thing on Arsenal there, which is very disappointed. We're there. They can't even fit in the 3%. but apparently more people thought it was a very successful season. So we are literally the 3% of people that were disappointed with this season. I know it's a survey and they only asked a certain amount of people, but it has there 37% that were only slightly dissatisfied, right? So that looks like then altogether there's 40% of people that want Arteta out. But I said, no. The 3% will want Arteta out. That 37% that are slightly disappointed. I'd say if you ask them, do you want Arteta out? They go, oh, no, I didn't mean that. It was a slightly disappointing season. But I mean, this PR machine, Tops, it's can be on the joke now at this stage, isn't it? Well, why are people still falling for it? Why are people still? What is it? Just our fan base? Or we have to be the worst of the lot? I think. Are we?
Yeah, I would definitely up there, man. I feel like the fan base are just so used to that PR spin of just listening to what everyone says in terms of a project, a process. It takes time. We've got to wait season on, season out, and I feel like that's what's happening this season. And you're right. The Zubimendi news. I remember when it broke. It was when we lost to Man United. That was the first time it broke because everyone was losing their heads. We lost to Man United, 10 men at home, knocked out the cup, another trophy Arteta can't win. And then out of nowhere, Zubimendi, we're going to get him in the summer. And okay, cool. And then we got knocked out of the Champions League against PSG. And then again, the same story, like you said, recycled again. We're going to get Zubimendi. And then now we're in June and we're going to get Zubimendi. I was like, bro, how many times can you say the same story over and over again without us actually getting the player? And like you said, now he's coming out and he's saying things that indicate he doesn't even want to come to us. He's kind of waiting for Real Madrid, seeing what Xavi Alonso is going to say. Is he going to be able to get me from this Sociedad team and get me into the Bernabeu? Like, bro, it's just embarrassing, man. I feel like the fact that Arsenal fans still believe this stuff they tout us. We've had the worst 3 seasons in terms of transfer windows combined that I've ever seen at the club in terms of where we possibly could have gone. The fact that the team was actually at a decent side in terms of quality. We just needed a few more adjustments at the time. But now we've left so much work for us to do. Like, we've got so many players we've got to replace, players coming out of contract, positions that we've not fulfilled in 2, 3, 4 years. It's just going on and on and on. We're still linked with a winger. We've been linked with a winger since 2021 when Pepe left. Like, we're still linked with that same winger. We still need a cover for Saka. We need to upgrade now on Martinelli and Trossard because they're not the answer. We're still looking for a striker since Aubameyang. Like, all these kind of positions, we're just leaving it window after window after window. It's just snowballing. And I don't understand why fans are still in this project mode, even with the whole Sesko thing. I'm not saying that he's a bad player or he's terrible, but we know next year we have to win. We have to win this year. We have to win last year, but we know definitely we have to win next year. Why are we now going to chance our chances of winning the title on a 21, 22-year-old who's never played in the division, can't crack more than 14 Bundesliga goals, never mind Premier League goals? Like, this is a lot of pressure for a guy that needs to get accustomed or get used to, obviously, the country and the league, get obviously used to the team. And we're expecting him to come in and score 20, 25 goals, which is what we need because we need someone that's better than Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz got, 9 Premier League goals last year. Not obviously good enough. Was injured for a bit of it, but still not good enough. The season before, he got 13. We need someone getting that 20 mark. That's what we need. We need those extra goals, especially in those big games or even the smaller games, the games like West Ham, Fulham, like Newcastle, like Villa, teams that we always drop points in season out. We need that striker that's going to really take the reins and finish off those easy chances that the likes of Kai Havertz misses on a regular basis. And for me, Sesko is not the guy for right now. Like, maybe in a couple of seasons, maybe, but we're past that, man. That project thing is done. It's over. Sometimes you just got to knock it on the head, man, and say, you know what? The pressure's on now. You've got to win now. There's no more excuses. There's no more excuses of injuries, players that need to develop. None of that stuff. We need to win now. And I feel like the fact that we're linked with Sesko just shows that he's still got more power than we probably all of us want in terms of the signings. Like we said, we wanted Bert to come in and just go in the right direction of win now. The Gyokereses, the Rodrygos, the guys that are ready made to come into this team and take us over the line. But it looks like we're still going back to the status quo. Apparently, we still wanted Garcia, the goalkeeper, but he's gone to Barcelona. So that was a waste of time. What was the whole point of chasing him last summer? He's not even going to come to us now. So that was a waste of resources and time in terms of getting Neto on loan. Waste of time. Now, obviously, the Zubimendi links, not certain that he's going to come in. That could be another waste of time. Sesko, imagine if we do all this kind of twerking for Sesko after 2-3 years. He comes in and he's a dud and we paid 70, 80 million for him. We're going to be a laughing stock. Like, come on, guys. It's crazy, man. So for me, my question is, like, for the guys that obviously still believe this, when is enough for you guys? When is what they say not going to be good enough for a response? Because for me, I've passed that stage a long time ago. It's not been good enough for years. And I don't understand how people still believe half the stuff will come out with Shane. I really don't, bro. So yeah.
But this is what they do, Tops. This is what they do. And I'm going to bring Lawrence in now in a second, but I just want to show you this, Lawrence. I already put it up. I don't know if you were watching earlier, but this is just what we're talking about, the Arsenal PR machine. But when you have accounts out there that are meant to be representing this club, and they're putting up this, that we understand that Mikel Arteta was the original choice for Real Madrid, but he turned them down without blinking, it says. So they had to settle for their backup plan of Xabi Alonso, a manager, by the way, that went unbeaten, that has played for the club, that has shown that he's successful. But apparently they were looking at Arteta, a man who's never won the Champions League and never won the league. We asked your man Benny Blanco, big up Benny Blanco, when he was on Aaron's channel, would you take Arteta? And when he said, yeah, I went, oh my God. And then I drop him off across the street at Atletico and say, you keep him. You know what I mean? But this PR machine, man, these accounts out there, Lawrence, a big up. Thanks for coming on, and I hope you're well today. But I mean, how are you doing today? How are you doing today with all this Arsenal rumors?
I'm all right. Recovering from yesterday. Apologies for not being here at the start. Something came up at the last minute. I know I said I would be here at 7 o'clock your time, but at the last minute I had to take care of some business. Yeah, I mean, what you just showed me, the theme to Jackanory was playing in my head. You know, because that's what it is. I mean, half an hour ago, I got sent this, right? You know, while all the other big teams in the Premier League are signing players to strengthen our squad, and we're bringing in a kid from Blackburn for $1 million, and we're chasing another kid from Belgium that nobody's ever heard of. I get this sent to me. I don't know if you can see it. That we're in discussions with
for a new scout, is it?
Work with Berta. I mean, when are we actually going to sign some big name players?
Yeah.
Why are we now why are we focusing our attention on bringing in somebody to help Berta to help us get signings into the club?
Exactly. It's craziness. But this is what we're doing. We're getting in a top scout, Lawrence. What's the point in a top scout if we're just going to sign all of Arteta's players?
Yes, exactly. You know, you just couldn't make this shit up, can you?
It is, but it's either laugh or cry, mate. It's either laugh or cry. I thought I'd show you. I saved this one for you because I know how much you do love it. This was put out today, man. This is from the Arsenal website. The Summer Essentials. The Summer Essentials. They peddle more merch than any other club, man.
Let me just open up my Swiss bank account.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, Lawrence, it's supply and demand. So if people weren't buying it, they wouldn't be doing it. So there must be people because when they brought out that China, remember Curtis Shaw was just going ballistic about the Arsenal China, and it looked like a kid had painted Arsenal on an old kettle that they bought at a flea market. But they sold out. They sold out in minutes, and they were 200, 300 quid a pop. They sold out in minutes, man. It's
just propaganda, isn't it?
At this point, it is. At this point, it is propaganda. Jez, when you grew up watching Ireland, I think you said before that your first jersey was the yellow. The old yellow plain jersey, wasn't it? That was the first one you had. I mean, I know merch wasn't a big thing then, and all these different tops and stuff like that. But I know I've heard your take before on the double scarves, man. I mean, when did that start? When did teams start putting the double scarves out?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't think it was an England team. I think you'll find it was a European team.
Was it a European team? Okay.
And I think then Nottingham Forest jumped on the bandwagon. Fair enough. Why not? They'd won 2 European Cups on the bounce. Yeah. I've got a feeling, I mean, I could be totally wrong here. I've got a feeling it was Inter Milan.
Okay.
To put the stars. I might be totally wrong. I'm sure somebody in the chat can Google it. But I think it started in Europe, and then Nottingham Forest, I believe, were the first to do it,
right?
In England. So, and then other teams obviously followed suit. Of course, why not? Hey,
yeah.
Something to shout about. We haven't, but
yeah. You're talking about the stars over the crest, is it? Oh yeah, no, I was talking about the scarves. You know the scarves that have the two teams on it where they do the double scarves.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, not the stars.
Oh, sorry, mate. I misheard you.
No, the stars are great, man. I think the stars are brilliant. I wish we had a star over ours, man. I'd actually buy the new kit if we had a star over. But the double scarves, man, just with the merch that we do, we want pumping out.
I think the double scarf started around about at the FA Cups. I remember seeing at the FA Cup with Aston Villa double scarves, and I'm thinking, what is this about? And then when I saw last season, Arsenal Tottenham double scarves. Are you having a laugh?
That was shocking.
What are you doing? We're all good mates now. We're all buddies now. Arsenal, Arsenal and Tottenham. Get out of here. Get out of here. They are. I mean, this is a debate for you could have a debate about this one all night about the rivals of Arsenal and Tottenham. They're more tribal than rivals. It's the vicinity of the close proximity in North London that makes it tribal. We are so close to their gaff as they are to ours. If you look at Man United, Man City, they're a way apart in Manchester. And yet there's more tribal between Liverpool and Man United because they were two of the greatest teams in English football. There's no question. You can't dispute that fact for what they've achieved in their history. But when I see these people at football games, what game was it? Oh yeah, it was Arsenal. What was it? What game was it? Arsenal PSG. Right at the Emirates, there's people with Arsenal PSG double scarves on. I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? This is the Champions League, and you are wearing the opponent's scarf. Now the problem is here, most of the people that buy them aren't Arsenal fans; they're just tourists.
Yeah,
that is the problem, and you'll see it at the Emirates that. The last time where the queues to get into the Armory and people walking out with bags of stuff they've spent 400-500 quid on. They're tourists. They're not Arsenal fans. I've got a mate of mine here right now, and I've got another one coming tomorrow. His wife that were on a video that I actually sent to you last week.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
One of them's here already, and the other one, they've gone out for dinner tonight on their own. And another one of them is coming tomorrow. And we've been chatting about this. And one of them still goes to the games. The other one doesn't. He's moved away, a bit like me. But when we were talking about it, he was saying it's a disgrace what's happened to the club. And it's all down to PR. It's all PR. That's all it is. Arsenal are a brand, and that's what the Cronkies want. Yep. They want it to be a brand. It's not a club anymore where people died for the badge. And I don't mean that literally, but you know what I'm getting. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you hand over your heart and soul to the club.
Yeah. You would give your heart and soul, but now it is just what the Cronkies want. It's just a money-making brand, and that's what they want. Can you before the Cronkies came? Can you imagine? Can you remember when Arsenal ever dropped that much merch in a season?
No, that's staggering. It was every month this season, Jess. It was every month there was something coming out.
That didn't happen even under Wenger. When Wenger was here, right? David Dean and all that lot. We didn't drop in merch like that.
We wore the same shirts for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's about 2 years, wasn't it? We changed our home shirt.
Yeah.
even three, Jez. I remember getting the one from 91 with the AFC on the collar. Well, I think we had that from 90 to 93, and then we got the one with the sort of with the badge in the middle and the triangles on the sleeve. So that was 3 years. It used to be United were the first team to start changing every year, I think, and there was uproar at the time when they did it. They were the first ones to have a third kit as well. But I'm glad Jez said that about a brand, because this is a little 6-second clip from the Arteta's last press conference. And he names off what we are, and he says brand before team. Just get a load of this.
What is our brand? What is our club? What is that we stand for? What is our value? What is our way of playing?
What is our brand? Straight away, he says it before team. What is our brand? You know what I mean? And this is the man that's out representing us. What is our brand? And it's that to me just it kicks the older fans in the teeth, man, calling the club a brand. And that's his thinking, because he wouldn't have said that first. If you know what I mean, there is something. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I do know that he says that first. It's what he means. You know what I mean? Because he would have said, "What's our team? What's our brand?" before that. But I'm going to bring Views in because I wanted to show him something again. It's just more than to show everybody. This is more that there's just this propaganda that's out there, right? This is what someone put up on Twitter, and I don't care. I don't use Twitter, and I know it's just all lies, but they put out this stuff, and then people just believe it, right? So they put out that Martin Odegaard has played more through balls than any other player in the past 2 Premier League seasons, 64, right? Now, we've all watched Odegaard. Even before you check it, you know that's not true. Well, you just know it's not true because you watch the man play. He doesn't play through balls. We all know it's not true. I did a quick search on stats, all right? So here we go. This is 2 seasons ago. He did 15 through balls, and last season, he did 11, right? So he 26 through balls. But according to them, they just throw up that, it's 64, just like that. And everybody reads that, goes, oh, he's a great player. So they're just pandering lies. Dudes, if we were in a good position, if we were Liverpool, we wouldn't need to do this. We wouldn't need to do this. You know when things are really bad, when your fans are out there, but they're not, I don't call it, to me, they're not fans, they're not fans. They're not fans, they're cartoon characters, man. But then if you have to start bringing down other teams all the time, bashing them, you have to start saying that, you have to start, like, pissing all over other people's accomplishments, like putting this up is yours gold and taking away from what West Ham and Tottenham did. You know what I mean? It's desperation. But the Views, if we were in a good position, would we need to be doing this? Would we be making up stats?
No, of course not. Of course not. I was saying before, I feel like, where Arteta's been on like a long con, bro. Like in the movies, right? Like Entrapment or something. This is the long con. He's come in with a plan. He's come in and said all the right things. The board know he's going to be a yes man. This, that, and the third. All the right things to get his feet under the table, and then just turn us into Shoreditch, bro. Yeah? If Arsenal was ever an area, we're the new Shoreditch. It's man buns. It's only about vibes and cultures, as you said, and as Jez said, we are a brand. And it's absolutely disgusting. If you just done everything right on the pitch, then half of the things that's going on, even outside, all of this merch and reality TV shows and all the other crap they come up with, no one would really care because the team's doing the business on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, Liverpool doing that. Liverpool never spent no money last year, really, did they? They bought Chiesa. That was the only player that they brought in for the whole year, right? They brought in a new manager. They might not have trusted him, fair play. But he's just come and dunked all over, Mick Arteta's processes and phases and patience and all the other crap he wants to peddle out. And then they're going back in big in the summer. So, like I said, they're winners. They've got the Champions League money, and the club's maybe learning from last time in the COVID when they won it and then they didn't go and back them up the next year. They're learning from it. And that's something that we failed to do. But obviously, to answer your question, yeah, if everything's going right on the field, then nothing else matters. If you address what's going on there, then you get a pass. We're all dopamine addicts. The moment Arsenal win a game, regardless of everything else, you do feel good at the full-time whistle. Then you can obviously break down everything else after that. So yeah, if the product's good, then everything else takes care of itself. So you're absolutely right, bro. And it just seems it's like Groundhog Day again and again, lies and lies, lies and lies, lies and lies, PR. Why would you just put out? I mean, was that the club or was that a cultist? I don't know who that was. like just bold-faced lying, and it all stems from it all stems from the top. So when you hear Mikel Arteta saying all these things, that's the first thing that the cultists jump on and say, oh, and it's like you're missing the point. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. If the product's good, everything else is perfect.
But I'm glad you said that, because I was literally just going to ask Tops. I was going to make the point that, listen, you have a channel, mate, like we do here, and we get someone in the chat that's going against us, and they start, you're nothing but a league gunner, this and blah blah blah. And they're trying to throw abuse. Make sure you don't see me on the street and all that. Come on, man. You know what I mean? They'd wet their pants if you saw them in the street. These guys are in a fucking basement writing messages. But have you ever had one of them come in, right? Or have you ever seen them on a chat on, say, Lee's or something like that, and actually make a point that stands up that wasn't said by Arteta or the club to defend them? Have you ever heard one of them come up with something where you go, "Oh, that makes me think"?
To be honest with you, no. To be honest with you, I can't lie, man. Nah, you know what it is? I feel like for me, it's just like a lot of time has passed since he's been at the club, and obviously they used to come back and say, you know what? Look how he's improved certain elements of our team that was obviously really, really bad during like the Wenger days, like us getting smashed against the massive teams 8-2, 6-0, 6-1, 5-1, and now we're a bit defensively more solid, which I say, you know what, fair enough. He has done that. That's fair. Obviously, you give credit where it's due. Obviously, our form against the big teams as well has slightly improved as well, because we used to get battered every time away from home. We couldn't really win away against Spurs. We couldn't win away against Chelsea, and that's obviously improved as well. So when those kind of things they say at the time, you think, cool, fair enough. But then when you bring up obviously the trophy argument, that's where it just all falls down, because it's like 5 years is a long time in football, especially this obviously generation of football, where managers don't get a long time. Even at top clubs, managers will get 1 or 2 years, and then they're out the door if they're not obviously fulfilling their achievements and targets. So you look at even Ancelotti, the fact that he won the Champions League and the La Liga last year, and now he's out of a job, and they've got in someone else. Alonso obviously nearly won the unbeaten treble 2 years ago, and now he's left there and gone somewhere else. So, bro, these top managers, Inzaghi, won league titles as well. Now he's off to another club. Like top managers don't even stay at top clubs for that long. So when you point and say, why has he not won a trophy? Just one. I'll take anything. I'm starving. I'll take anything. League Cup, FA Cup, I'll take anything, bro. I'm not seeing us even get to a final in 5 years. Never mind win a trophy. So for me, when you bring that argument, I think that's when it all falls down. I just feel like, again, and some of them, I think some of them are obviously supporters of the club, and I think they want to believe into the PR because they want to believe the club is going in the right direction. But I just think sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, this is just not what they're obviously telling me it is. It's not what we think it is. Like it's something that we need to obviously address in terms of we need to make sure that the club is doing everything they can to fulfill their obligations of trying to win trophies. And we're not at the minute. We've not got the best manager, in my opinion. We're not doing the best and maximizing every transfer window, which is what Arteta said a couple of seasons ago. We're not doing that either. So you look at those kind of things and you think, well, if you're not doing the basics right, how can then we go on and win any kind of trophy when you're not even doing your job to prepare the team and strengthen the team season in, season out? So yeah, bro, I don't think they've got really a leg to stand on in terms of liking the manager, wanting him to do well, which to be fair, I want him to do well. If he does well, the team does well. It's not a personal vendetta from me personally against him, but I'm just looking at obviously the statistics and what he's failing to do in the cup competitions as well as obviously the league. He's not doing enough on what we expect in terms of the money he spent and the team we have. We do have a decent team. Like there's players that we obviously all those guys love. We love Saliba, we love Gabriel, we love Saka, we love Rice. Like it's not like we've got a load of dud players. So it's like if we've got some good players that we all rate, why can't we then win a trophy that Crystal Palace have won, or win a trophy that Newcastle have won, or win a trophy that Spurs have won? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like lesser teams that are winning silverware when we should be winning some things, even if we don't win the league. Obviously, the league's hard to win. I get that. Like, you're not going to win it every year. It's going to take a special team to do it. But for me, there's no excuses not to pick up some trophies along the way and then build up to winning that major, because I feel like the team is lacking a lot of that kind of winning mentality, that winning feeling of getting over the line in some of the smaller competitions. This is why I said at the start of the season, just give me a League Cup. Just give me a League Cup. Make the fans and obviously the players remember what it's like to win trophies again, and then you can build up from there, and then you can start getting the big ones. When you don't go, or you go so long without winning like any kind of majors, it's very difficult for the team as a whole to really galvanize themselves when they do get into a massive opportunity, like a Champions League semi-final, like a League Cup semi-final. And then you're surprised when you see the performances that we put out in both of those competitions, getting battered 4-0 on aggregate to Newcastle, losing both games against a very good PSG team, but we didn't beat them in either game. So you look at that and you think, you know what, that's probably got something to do with the fact that the team has not won any kind of major silverware in the last 2-3 years when Arteta's assembled it. So yeah, man, I just think for us to get forward, we need to make sure we're taking these competitions seriously and getting to finals and winning them. And then we can progress from there, because until we do that, I think it's a massive leap for us to just not win anything and then just win the league or the Champions League. I think I can't see how you bridge that gap, because Arteta's never won a league in his career. The players, most of them, not even won a trophy in their career. So to expect that in the next season, I just think it's asking a lot. So for me, like even next season, I mean, obviously it's early. We don't know who we're going to sign yet. But even like now, I'm just looking at thinking, just win me a trophy, just win me a cup, because I can't expect us to by a Pep Guardiola team that's won loads of Premier Leagues, a slot manager now who's won a Premier League, as he got loads of experience. The Liverpool team have won Champions Leagues and leagues, that current team. So yeah, we're going to be challenged for them, obviously, for the league. And in the Champions League, it's a free-for-all. You don't know who's going to obviously show up on the day. Real Madrid normally like the favourites. PSG obviously in great form now as well. So yeah, the cup competitions, we've got no excuse, man. We had an easy tie or an easy run to the semi-finals this year in the League Cup, and we didn't manage to get over the line. And for me, we've got to take it more seriously for sure. So yeah, I don't think there's nothing really much they can say at the current minute. I mean, I think some of them are waiting for him to prove them right, because again, at the minute, they can't really go off too much, man, apart from a couple of title challenges. But when it comes to armpits, we're not seeing it, man. So yeah, man, I think that's what we're all really waiting for, to be honest, Shane, man.
You're spot on. You're spot on. And this is the thing, like they never have any fresh arguments, and they wait for him to come out and say stuff. But big up to everybody in the chat. There's 87 of you in here, so make sure you're smashing the likes and make sure you're subscribing to everybody on the panel. All of their channels are linked, are pinned to the chat. And I'll just call out a few people out here. Light Thief is in the house, of course. Big up Light Thief. Danny's in the house, and Hendo Gooner. Big up Hendo. Simply Ace is in the house. Future Shock Static, of course, is always in the house. We have a few new people as well. Lara Doyle's one of the regulars. Marin the Red is in. Future Shock is in. Andrew Baum is in. He's doing his A licenses at the moment for coaching. And big up to Andrew. I hope you wish you luck, man. You said to wish you luck. I wish you luck. You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right. And Brenny's in the house. We have GNRZTV. Yeah, no, that email it is, man. It's on. I checked. It's definitely on my YouTube page. If you want to send something, just send it through that. And of course, I'll call it. Danny Quadja is in the house, and there's so many people in the house that if I missed your name, I do apologize. But keep smashing those likes, keep throwing in your comments as well, man. It keeps the flow going. And Amanda Vidic is in the house, bigging up Tops. Big up Amanda Vidic. Jezza, Tops made a point there about that it's not that he doesn't have a personal vendetta against Arteta, and that's that's the way a lot of people are. I've sort of switched now over the last year, where now it is for me, you know what I mean, where I just want this guy. I actually dislike him as a person now as well. And I put up before that he's on a stream that he's our worst manager in history, and people went ballistic. Oh, what about Bruce Rioch, and what about this, what about that? But Bruce Rioch finished 5th in his one and only season. Emery finished 5th in his one and only season. Arteta finished 8th and 8th, and they say, oh, he took us from 8th. Did you not hate it when we were in 8th? Yeah, he put us there, mate. You know what I mean? Twice. To you now, I know we've had some stinkers through history, but for what he's doing now with the injuries, for all the lies, for the way he's turned us into a laughing stock, for the way he's really pushed this brand thing, he's the one with all the merch every time in an interview. He's getting off on this. Do you see a worse manager in our history for when you add it all up together?
Without a shadow of a doubt, worst manager I've ever seen at Arsenal. Worst manager.
People.
Every other manager we've had for a period, and a few seasons, has won something. Without question. You can't include Bruce Rioch. He was not here for that long. He's only here for 9 months. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cherry Neal was here for 5 seasons, won an FA Cup, but got us into 3 FA Cup trophies, finals, and into the Cup Winners' Cup final. Bertie Mee won us our first double, got into 2 consecutive League Cup finals. Right? Swindon Town, Leeds United, won the double against the great Liverpool team that was coming to existence back then. 72 got us into a cup final, lost to a great Leeds United team in the day. We lost that 1-0. So what has this manager achieved? We don't need to talk about, obviously, Wenger, because we know what he achieved. I mean, we had Stuart Houston as a what's the other one? Steve Burtonshaw. They weren't here long enough to compare.
No.
This man will be here 6 years this December and has won an FA Cup. That is a poor show. Poor show. So for me, yeah, he is the worst manager I've ever seen in my lifetime at Arsenal Football Club. We have had bad managers before that, but they're before my time, so I can't comment. But factually, for seeing live what this guy does, he's a wrong un. He's a disgrace to the club. Bearing in mind, an ex-player that I never wanted anyway. I never thought he was great at Arsenal as a player, to be fair. And yet, people support him. For what reason do you support him? Why? Why? Tell me what I've missed. What have I missed for 5 years? Coming 3 times. Funny enough, yesterday, I went to a shop in up the road. And there's a lady there who's actually, she's French, but she supports Man United, believe it or not. Really nice lady. And she said to me, I had an Arsenal shirt on, like one of these top shirts. And she went, Arsenal, Gunners. I went, yeah. And she was like, great season. I said, why? We came second. And she was like, better than Man United. I said, yeah, you got to a final. We didn't.
Yeah.
I said, and she was like, I don't, it might be her daughter, I don't know who it is, young girl. And she said, you lost to the great PSG. And I said, yeah, we did. And sums it up, doesn't it, really? You know, that you've got a Man United French lady who supports Man United thinking Arsenal have had a great season. Because we come second. Because we come second. And I'm like, I'm not going to get into a debate with this lady. Nice lady. I thought I could stand here for an hour with you and we could talk bollocks. In her broken English, in my broken French, right? and basically talk a load of crap. But at the end of the day, if it was her daughter who was about 15, maybe that age, I'm not sure. She said, oh, you lost to the great PSG. Well, what can you say about that? Fact, isn't it? We did. So, yeah, he is the worst manager I've ever seen, without a doubt.
Yeah, and Jez, you make some great points there, and I'm going to bring in Lawrence because people are putting up Don Howe, and we're talking about the Bertie Lees and stuff in this world, and yeah, there was times where we struggled with relegation, but we still got cups and things. But we also have to take into account that they were literally on a shoestring budget. They were losing their best players. They weren't allowed to spend a penny. Like, we getting little other teams to spend. And I know that transfers weren't as big back then, but we were definitely getting held back with, you know, we need a player now. We'll just sort of shoestring budget. You know, Liam Brady left because of all that sort of stuff. But Lawrence, where do you stand on him being the worst manager we've ever had? Do you think he is, or do you think there was worse in your lifetime?
By a country mile, and I've seen, like Jez, I've seen them all. You know, I wouldn't say Emery was a bad manager because I think the players threw him under the bus in that Europa League final. Bruce Rio, I didn't think the club really wanted him in the first place. You know, it was a stopgap until Arsene Wenger was available. I've told you about the final days of Terry Neal's reign when the fans were real. Bertie Mee, God rest his soul, realised he couldn't take this club further when we had that dodgy period in the mid-70s, and he had the integrity to step down, which this dickhead should. So by a country mile, this clown is the worst manager in my lifetime in the club's history. I sent you a video earlier this week when we played up at Liverpool a few weeks ago, and the cop were taunting Arteta when they were singing "Best team in Europe, you're having a laugh," and he's right, and they're right.
Yeah,
they've sussed him out. You've sussed him out. I've sussed him out. The rest of the panel sussed him out. It's just these plastic deluded AKB ostriches in our fan base. They won't have a bad word said against him. You know, it's like, as I said, they're in denial. And they're going to be in for a mighty shock, because we all know that the fan base is gradually turning against this man. And as I said, if we get off to a poor start at the beginning of next season, it's going to be toxic, but, 10 times worse than when it was when Wenger was on his way out.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Can I just say, I find it quite funny. I'm sorry to interrupt. I apologise.
No, go ahead, just.
Yeah, I mean, the comment there that this gentleman's put in there, is Arteta worse than Bruce Rioch? How long's Bruce Rioch here, man? Nemanja.
And he finished fifth, Jez. He finished fifth.
How long was he here? And he brought in Dennis Bergkamp, one of the greatest players of this football club. David Platt, a great English player, played for England many, many, many times. So where you can't compare Rioch, who's here for 9 months, who was then superseded by Arsene Wenger, who was always the game plan, right? David Dean and Sir Peter Hill-Wood always had him in the radar. But if you look at the facts, Nemanja, if you look at the facts, Wenger said he would finish his season at Grampus 8 before joining Arsenal, which he did, because he had that. He was an honourable man, and obviously in Japan, they are very honourable people, and they wanted him to see his time out, which he did. So you can't compare Bruce Rioch to Arteta. He wasn't here long enough. This guy's been here for fucking 6 years nearly, and has won an FA Cup. Brilliant. I love the FA Cup. I grew up with the FA Cup. But ever since he's won that FA Cup, tell me when he's got past the 4th round.
He hasn't.
Exactly. So there you go.
And I will just caveat with that when people talk about the Bruce Rioch thing, right? Because these Arteta fans, they love to go with league finish, right? So if you just put their 2 first full seasons, Rioch finished 5th and Arteta finished 8th. Rioch did it with a smaller budget. And we have to remember as well that with Bruce Rioch, he came into a team, right? Tony Adams was at the very peak of his alcoholism. He wasn't there for anybody. Your captain wasn't there for anybody. He was falling off a cliff, man. He was turning up for training drunk. He was in bits. He wasn't in the dressing room. Ian Wright wanted to leave. And of course, Paul Merson was having his issues. So he came into an absolute shambles and he steadied the ship. So we can't obviously say over his time, but I would like to think that if he was given 6 years, that he would have done something. If he finished 5th, and we had finished, I think, 8th the season before, you know what I mean? So, I mean, he showed improvement where Arteta made us regress. Views, I'll bring it to you. Like, I mean, I think I know your answer on this, and then we'll finish on the Arteta thing. But because people think that we're going crazy when we say he's the worst manager we've ever had. But I look at it like a real fan, like everything that's wrong with the club, everything, and what's going to happen over time with all this, with all the players and the injuries and stuff like that. I've never seen a worse manager in my time, not in any way, shape, or form. And I've been through obviously George Graham when I was young, Bruce Rioch, Stuart Houston for a stage when he was in, and then Wenger and Arteta. And I know my history as well. I wouldn't know it like the lads here, and they lived through it. But I would openly just say, and I've said it before, that he's the worst manager I've ever had, just for signings, everything that you need to be as a manager. He's been given more money than any other manager in our history. He's been given twice as much as Wenger got in 22 years. Yeah. I mean, he has to be the worst manager we've ever had, right?
Facts. Just simply, he just is. And especially this year, I feel like he is being exposed. You know, all of the pressures on. I'm talking about the season that's just ended. Excuse me. You know, just mistake after mistake, stubbornness, arrogance. You know, you're towing the company line now because you know he'd never ever have 15 million a year as a player, ever. So now he's getting 15.6 as the Arsenal manager. He is definitely going to toe the company line. And you know, like I said, this year's been exposed. The game management has been horrendous. Playing our best midfielder, Uncle Party, by the way, you know, with tired legs as it is, putting him at right back, you know, one player out and we shuffle the whole pack, you know, and he's just made us progressively worse. You know, you've had Arsenal fans that go to the game and they're saying, I've got to bring my book, I've got to bring the Kindle. Like it's that boring. You know, we got Troops, big up Troops. He's fallen asleep online in the watch along. He's literally fallen. It's not even an act. He's snoring on the stream. I kid you not. I kid you not. You know, like this is how bad. And I always say on my channel, paint watches Arsenal dry. Like we are that boring to watch. We are a representation of this guy as a player and a man, pragmatic, non-brave, too scared to lose. Like when are we ever going to throw the sink at it? There's been games this season, even against PSG, where we needed goals, and because of your stubbornness, you're going to keep Wanyeri on the bench. You know, you're doing like for like subs. You know, we're chasing the game. You know, Anfield, not long ago, we were 2-0 down. We managed to get back to 2-2, and the first thing you do is bring on 2 defenders.
Yeah.
Why don't we not go and try and win the game? The momentum's now shifted. Why have we not gone and try and win the game? Big up Lion Tex. Like it's this guy. When are you ever going to throw the sink at it? You play all of our players, best part of a whole game, 3 days before our semi-final of the Champions League, and after 20 minutes, you're wondering why they're blowing. Like this guy is just not competent. Slots come in as an unknown, but he knows when to rotate his players. He basically threw the FA Cup against Plymouth because he didn't get to go to Dubai for a mid-bloody season holiday. I call Arteta the most luckiest manager in history. I don't think there's anyone luckier than him. You bought Ben White as a centre-back. You got lucky to try and play him as a right-back. You bought Moreno. He's actually crap midfielder, but you got lucky that he can kind of do something up front. The same for Kai Havertz. You know, you bought Timber. That was 50 million. He was already a good player, but you want to take credit off of that. Like he's really playing the long game, and how he's managed to drain half a decade out of this club, for me, is just unbelievable. You know,
I'll just say, throw this into you.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Right. You know, you're one of the younger fans, respectfully, and you've got a different tilt on it, which I admire. If Arteta was to be sacked at Christmas, can you imagine the meltdown with the likes of Egal, Christian, and the other lot that go with it? Can you imagine it? Well, if he does get the bin at Christmas, how many of them arse-white Arsenal fans at Emirates, what are they going to do? The banner's going to come down, best-looking Spaniard we know, all this, all that. I mean, they're going to have an absolute heart attack, aren't they?
They'll follow him to whatever club he manages next.
Good.
I've said that, Lawrence. Some of them will. I
hope they do. I pray that they do, because I want them out of the Arsenal Football Club, because they are the cancer. What is AFTV going to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
They're screwed. Yeah.
Because they've been sucking him off for the last 6 years.
What are Ty, Julian, and Marty Ovens going to do?
Yeah, what are they going to do?
Marty McFly,
They're going to go off and support Luton, because that's where Robbie
maybe should.
supporting. He was a Luton fan.
Great point.
Pincus can go back to QPR as well.
Great point. Jez cooking.
Get him out, and that way, right? If he gets binned at Christmas, I'm confident he will be binned by Christmas, right?
Yeah.
That means a lot of them plastic tourists will sod off out of Arsenal Football Club, and the 4,000 on the waiting list, right, for a season ticket, can get proper Arsenal fans, I mean, real Arsenal fans that live around the area, can get a proper ticket and support the club and get this club back to the greatness it once was. Because at the end of the day,
I think, Ches, if we get off to a bad start next season, I think he'll be out by the end of September, beginning of October.
I think it'll be later, mate. I actually think it'll be. I respect your view. I do respect your view. I'll tell you why I say that, right? It's because, again, the club will get it. If we start off in a bad position and by Christmas we're sitting 6th, 7th, 8th, that is when the fans will turn again. There are fans turning, let me tell you now.
I know.
They are getting fed up. There's been fights in the stadium. Yep. I've been told that by people that go. I've been told by Kenny. He's seen it.
Yep.
Right. Aaron's seen it. DJB's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just getting back to the Wenger days, which is a sad, sad thing to see Arsenal fans. But the real Arsenal fans are the ones that are getting the ump. The plastics, Arteta only, they're the ones that are causing the trouble. They're the ones that are supporting this absolute shit show. So when he goes, my question is, right, you lot go with him as well. Because you lot, what are you going to do? Oh, God, they're going to be, the Emirates be flooded with tears.
Yeah.
And some other fluids as well, I think.
It will be a domino effect. Because once one of them turns, the rest of them will turn.
That's the way cowards do normally, isn't it? Yeah. If someone else does it, then they'll follow. I've said this, and Jez, I agree with you. A pocket of them, and I agree with Lawrence, will follow where he goes. A small pocket of them will. And do you know what? The likes of Igal will do? Because we know that he's only brought on panels to be a Jerry. I call him a Jerry Springer prop. He's someone that just comes on just to cause controversy, right?
Very good.
So whoever we bring in, just say we bring in Fabregas, right? Which all of us would say, no, we don't want that because he's ex-Arsenal and he's not old enough, right? So we'd all say we don't want that. So they'll wait and see. Miguel will wait and see. And if it's Fabregas and we say we don't want him, he'll go, I want Fabregas. If we bring in someone like Simeone and we all say, brilliant, finally, he'll go, he's not the right man for the job. Because if he goes against the grain, he keeps his subscribers. That's all he's here for. And we will. Aaron's hopping on now soon, and we'll go through. I went through it on my breakfast team, but it's just that guy contradicting himself and showing exactly what he is, and he represents the rest of them. So it's just showing that he's only in it for clicks and likes. And as I said to Kenny Ken, because I was on the stream with him, and I was getting angry at the two of them on Dan Potts, right? And I don't like. I said, Kenny, listen, I don't know if I cut across you at any point. If I did, I apologize. He said, no, man, I was loving it. You know what I mean? You have to tell these people and blah, blah, blah. I said, right, great. You know what I mean? Because I'd always be a gentleman and I'd apologize and say, if I did cut across you, I'm sorry. But, I thought we were saying to each other, they're only there as props, man. They don't really care about the team. They don't care about the team. And I'm going to come to Lindex now because this is just another Arsenal PR thing. And we were on it and someone mentioned, this to me says that there's a chance we might not get a striker because they're pushing the Kai Havertz, like, look, he's a beast, right? This is what we're doing. They're pushing it. And I was hearing names like Victor Gyokeres, like we don't need him, right? So this is what we're doing here. You know what I mean? So when they start pumping this stuff out, we know that there's a good chance we might not get a striker because in January, the only time that Arteta ever said I need a forward was the January just gone, right? Because if you look back at any press conferences before that, it's one of the only questions you got to ask. Are you sure you don't need a 9? You don't have a 9. And he'd always go, why would we need a 9? We scored the most goals in the calendar year, guys. And we get goals from everywhere. He knew that Sesko deal, because he wanted Sesko last year, right? And they said, no, he's staying for a year. So he went, the board, I'm sure in the summer went, okay, do you want to get a different striker? And he went, no, I'll wait. I'll wait for Sesko because we know he's stubborn and narcissistic. I'll wait for Sesko. So he knew in January, that he wasn't getting a striker. So he was clever enough to start publicly saying, I want a striker, because if you listen to all these Arteta in guys, their argument is when you say, look, he had this amount of striker, and hasn't he always said he wants a striker? Hasn't he always said it? The board didn't back him. So he was clever and manipulative enough because he knew that people would back him then and say, look, I wanted a striker. And he knew the whole time that he wasn't getting one. So when you see something like that, Tops, does that make you think, good God, there's a chance that we mightn't even get Sesko.
Yeah, it does, bro. Like, I feel like, again, even with that, like you said, that picture, it just obviously highlights the fact that for me, we need to get Gyokeres, because with Sesko, there's no guarantee. And I don't know how you guys feel. I don't think he's even going to start, even if we do buy him. I think we're going to have the same striker. This is what I'm saying, bro. And we had this discussion on my channel, Shane, in terms of Arteta not liking that number 9 kind of striker, that arrogance, the likes of Aubameyang had and Thierry Henry, these kind of top tier strikers. Van Persie had it as well, where they have to be playing every week. They have to be scoring goals every week. They're, like you said, like Ruud van Nistelrooy, they're coming off even though the teams won, and they're upset they didn't get on the score sheet. And for me, Gyokeres feels like that's more of his personality. He wants to just score goals every single time he's on the pitch. Where Sesko, he looks like he is more in the mode of like a Kai Havertz in terms of personality-wise. He likes to link up play. He might score the odd banger here or there, but he's not, massively, concerned about scoring loads of goals as long as he's helping out the team. And I feel like we need to stray away from that kind of personality, because obviously it's not worked, because we've not won anything. So for me, we need more kind of guys that are winners, guys that are upset even though they've won with their own fan base. Big up a man like Sam. Guys that are upset with their own kind of teammates, even if they've won, because they've not got the amount of goals that they wanted in the game. That's the kind of winning mentality you want to put into the team. That feels down to the fans and obviously the management, everyone around the club. When winning is the only option, I feel like, again, you don't accept mediocrity. You don't accept finishing second. You don't accept not getting the best out of the team. So, yeah, man, I would say for me, when it comes to Sesko, I think he didn't want a signing. I think in January he knew, and that's why the Watkins deal didn't get done as well, because I think if Arteta said, yo, I want Watkins, I think that the team would have got it done. The board got it done, because Arteta normally gets all of his signings that he wants. And for me, it's funny how he wants to spend so much money on like defenders. Like, I seen that we're linked with housing. I'm thinking, why are we going to spend 50 mil on a defender when we've got Saliba, Gabriel, we've just spent 45 on Calafiori, we've got Ben White, we've got Timber, like, we've got all these defenders, and you want to spend another 50 mil on that area, but then neglect the attack that we need to spend that kind of money on. So, yeah, man, I think Sesko is kind of like his get out jail free card to keep Kai Havertz in the team, because again, the team has invested a lot of money in terms of his wages and the price tag, and we can't have him on the bench in Arteta's eyes, because again, it would be deemed as a failure. Arteta would be getting the brunt of, why have you wasted our £65 million on a guy that's on the bench now to replace him with a guy that's younger, that's cost probably a bit more as well, and he's probably going to be on less wages than Havertz, who's the most at the club. And I don't think he wants to admit when he's wrong. He doesn't want to admit, like you said, he's stubborn. He doesn't want to take the L and say, you know what, I should have got Havertz. No one asked for him. None of the fan base wanted him. You shouldn't have bought him. You made a mistake. Let's just move on from him and just get someone that can do the job in it, because again, he's not worth the money we pay for him in terms of fee and obviously wages as well. So yeah, man, I think Sesko, if we get a striker, it will probably be Sesko, but it won't surprise me if we don't get anyone, if I'm being honest, man, because I've seen this story, like you said, bro, Deja Vu, Independence Day, or you want a Groundhog Day, every kind of film, that repeats day. Hey, you've seen it before, so yeah, I'm not optimistic, to be honest, Shane.
This one, I just want to touch on that, because how battered are we that when every pundit under the sun, every fan, everybody knows we need a striker, have done for years, we're basically promised one this summer. And how battered are we that we're thinking, if we didn't get one, we wouldn't be shot? Yeah. I mean, exactly. It's gone so far. But Lawrence, there's a question here for you from Joe. And big up to everybody in the house. There's over 100 people in the house. It's absolutely blowing my mind. Very, very humble. Make sure you're smashing likes. Make sure you're subscribing to everybody. But this comes from Joe, one of the most supportive lads out there. He's been from the start, the channel member, absolute legend. He says, question for Lawrence. There's been links with Semenyo and Sesko. Do you think that those two players would improve things? I think I know your answer on this, but do you think Sesko and Semenyo, do you rate either of them?
I rate Semenyo. And like I said, I'm sitting on the fence regarding Sesko, because I've never seen him play. Right. But from what I've seen of Semenyo, I think he'd be a great addition. Someone's just sent me this from Sky. Apparently, we're being rumoured with Kepa from Bournemouth.
Dear God.
Oh my days! Is
that from Sky Sports?
Oh, no, you can see that on the screen.
I can't see it. No, can't see it.
Keller has just gone to Brentford as well for 18 million.
Yeah.
My
Oh
God.
my!
So
This is
from
what I
one
mean
shit
about this
keeper
club,
at
bro.
Bournemouth, we're
What are
getting
we
another
doing? Sigh. Nah, I'm not. I'm gonna lose it. I swear to God, bro. I've seen us buy a Chelsea player every season for about
Oh.
4 years now. Jorginho, Havertz, Sterling. Now we're gonna get Kepa. Bro, Kepa's not good enough. That's why Chelsea want to get rid of
If
him.
that's true,
Like, what are we
I
doing?
don't know what to think, man. I really don't know what to think. Lawrence,
Oh.
tell me you're lying, mate. Tell me you're lying.
Again, I'm hearing the Jackanory theme in my head.
It's just comical at this stage, man. It's absolutely comical at this stage, man.
Oh my God.
I mean, really, like even the chat's lighting up, just going like this club's a joke. And this, listen, even if it's just rumors, even if we're just being linked with him, I think it shows how low we've fallen, man.
Oh
I mean, that guy is it. Oh, I mean, come on, he's an accident waiting to happen. There was something I got sent as well, which I don't have it loaded up, but goal mistakes leading to goals from a keeper. Raya was top last season. A lot of people think that he's really good with his feet, but he was top. I think he was 10. He was the most in the league. But I know he takes more risks. I get it. He takes more risks. But I just think that that's the whole reason that Arteta's wanted to Vivendi for so long, just so he can play that silly little pass straight out from the keeper. Do you know the one where we often remember Jorginho lost the ball against Spurs and Partey lost it against West Ham when Rice tackled him and we blew the league. Yeah. So again, it just proves that this guy does not learn from his mistakes.
Yeah.
According to, I want to come to Jez on the. Oh, sorry, Lawrence, go ahead.
Sorry. According to the Sky correspondent in Italy, it says Arsenal are considering a deal for Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga. The 30-year-old who spent last season on loan at Bournemouth is available for £5 million because of a release clause in his contract.
He's Spanish.
He's Spanish, exactly.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. Yeah, getting into people like someone who, like a politician who knows he's struggling, he gets in all the people around him to try and so when the walls start closing in, you know what I mean? Jezza, back in the day, man, and I don't know when, and Aaron's touched on this, and I'm always the same. You had your number one keeper, right, and then you had an older head who doesn't mind being a sub. Like remember, Arsenal brought John Lukic back to back up David Seaman, and then they moved it to having Alex Manninger, a young keeper. I don't understand why you just don't have a young keeper or an experienced head or both. Like you know, Chesney going for free to Barcelona. Do you buy into this having two keepers going against each other, or where do you stand? Do you think it should be just a backup who can come in and do a job if you need, and then you're number one, or would you have two top keepers at the same time?
I honestly believe that you should have a challenge in every position.
Yeah.
Let's be right. We had John Lukic under George Graham. Then in comes Seaman.
Yeah. And a lot of people didn't want him in, Jez, didn't they? No, at the time. Sorry? A lot of people were a bit put off by getting Seaman in at the time for the price and the fact that John Lukic was already there. Am I right? Or was there
that? I mean, when we got him from QPR, it was looked upon as a downgrade. What Lukic had done, but it was a weird situation, you know, when Lukic came from Leeds and then he went back there, and David Seaman had started there and went down to QPR and then came to Arsenal. They basically swapped roles. But I honestly believe it's a good thing. You know, when we had, going back in time, we had Bob Wilson and Jimmy Rimmer, two excellent goalkeepers. I mean, Bob Wilson was an excellent, as we know, an excellent goalkeeper, brilliant goalkeeper. But also, so was Jimmy Rimmer, England goalkeeper. So I don't see the problem. I'd rather have two top-level goalkeepers that can push each other, vying for position. And if that number one gets injured, then we need somebody good to come in. Have we got that at the moment with Neto? No. Do you think so? No, I don't think so. Do you honestly think, right, if Raya had got injured before Champions League games, Neto would have stood up to the task? No,
we were going. Yeah.
We need, you know, it used to be we had two players in each position.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
When we had Arsene Wenger, we had in his first title winning season, we had 35 first team squad players.
Yep.
And people could step in, step out as required for different competitions. Some only played in League Cups, some only played in the FA Cup. But hey, come on. He went on and won 7 of them as a manager.
Yep.
There you
Yep.
go.
You know,
Yep.
and done a double. And yeah, again, we weren't great in Europe. But that seems to be synonymous with Arsenal Football Club. We're not great in Europe for whatever reason. I don't get it, but there we are. No, I like it. I think we should have 2 players in each position.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. But it is Kepa that man though, because apparently Fabrizio Romano is normally right, has confirmed these links for 5 million, I suppose. But I mean, he's it's another Chelsea reject. Another Chelsea reject views, isn't it?
I don't want to. I've got PTSD from Chelsea, Shane. I'm about to watch Sterling sink up the gaff all season. I don't want anything to do with him.
Gentlemen, can you remember the last Chelsea goalkeeper we had?
Peter Check.
Yeah, agent check. Agent check.
That went well.
That's a good shout, Jez. Agent check. Oh my God.
What is it?
I've got to get to this because Danny has put in a super chat. Absolute legend, Danny. Fair play to you, man. Massive support. Man. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Big up, Danny. I always see you out supporting channels. Absolute legend. Fair play to you, man. And as I'd like Aaron, it will all go towards. I want to get a proper green screen and stuff like that. So big up to you, man. Absolute legend. He says Marino gets more numbers than Sesko in attack. Let's have it right, and he does. So this is a great point, and that's it. That's not saying that Marino's good. I'm pretty sure Danny's just pointing out how bad Sesko is. You know what I mean? That we have a midfielder who needs an alarm when he turns. Beep, beep, beep. You know what I mean? He's getting numbers. Like Sesko's numbers are absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. The top gooners are painted. I think Igal said either yesterday or today that his hold-up play and his aerial danger and all this sort of stuff. And come on, he doesn't even score that many headers. He's a big lad, but he's about pace. He's about getting in behind. And we play low blocks and all that, and we play this and that. But big up to Danny, absolute legend. He's got a fair point, views, hasn't he? I mean, it's a bit of respect on what Marino's done, but it's also a damning verdict of the one we're about to pay 80-something million for.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're literally in the upside down. We're being held at ransom at the moment, and we got the battle of the CDMs. Which one of them's the better false nine? It's to be in this position after half a decade, and in 2025, all of that money spent is a sackable offense in itself. But yeah, Danny, you're absolutely right. Why would we then go and spend out 80 million, which seems like that's the yearly budget there or thereabouts, on an unknown? Makes sense. And that's what makes sense to Arsenal. That's what makes sense to Arsenal. If it don't make sense, then it makes sense to them. And again, it's just there he is, legend, bigger Aaron. Arteta's and whoever's the talent ID is literally in the bin. Literally in the bin. You can go through the Premier League and there's probably someone in near enough every team that would come in and improve our squad. So what on earth are they doing? Do you know what I mean? That's what I will say. So again, we're just being held at ransom. It doesn't make sense. So for Arteta, it's the right thing to do. Whereas the whole world's telling you, you need a proper gunman. We've got a market opportunity, number 9 in his prime, ready to go. 59 Great British, £1 million. It makes too much sense. So of course we're not going to do it. And we're just and we're the people that are just getting laughed at. How much more do we have to take? Do you know what I mean? We're just like the laughing stock of football. And it just goes on and on and on. And that's why we're in the Stranger Things, people, the upside down.
Yeah, big up, man. Exactly. Listen, Aaron's in the house. Aaron, always a pleasure when you give up your time. You're an absolute legend. I just got to bring you in on this because it's just been released that Fabrizio Romano apparently has reported that we're in and close to getting Kepa from as our I mean, if it's true, it's just another Chelsea reject. I don't know what your opinion is on this. I know we don't normally deal in rumors, but with Romano, we normally go, okay, there must be some truth to it. And even if we don't get him, if he's reporting that we're interested, I mean, that's just a shambles in itself. Am I wrong, or would you take him as a backup keeper?
Well, I'm quite glad that we're getting Chelsea rejects because all of them have worked out so well. Do you know what I mean? They've all been phenomenal, all the way from Peter Cech all the way up to Jorginho. They've all been fantastic. Nah, that's madness. I've always sort of used like a Kasper Schmeichel-esque sort of player as a backup who I think not necessarily in, but there or thereabouts, not Kepa. We're not learning. That's the problem with it. We're not learning. How many times will we keep going back to Chelsea's and the cities and taking their scrubs? They don't want him for a reason. Chelsea ain't wanted him for 3 or 4 years for a reason. He's no good. I don't think he was horrendous at Bournemouth, but I don't care. We're not Bournemouth. We're Arsenal. We should be staying a million miles away from that deal. I'm sorry. Even if he was half decent, just the fact that he plays for Chelsea, just no way. Just get away from me. I don't want him here. It's ridiculous. But there we go. We're Arsenal. That's the most worrying thing about it is we don't learn. We just don't learn. Frustrating, boys. I hope it is just rumours and nonsense and rubbish. But if it's coming from Fab, it probably is sort of higher up in the scales of likelihood. Do you know what I mean? That's very, very, very frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that right. You see Liverpool signing Florian Wirtz and all of that, and we're going to get Kepa.
Oh man,
Come on, man.
But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
Help me.
That's what it is. It's just desperation at this stage. I mean, even the Sesko thing, they're putting out the Kai Havertz pictures now of him being buff and stuff like that. And we were just saying before he came on that you wouldn't be surprised if they're doing this now because we're not getting it forward. I think we will, but I mean, it's just this PR machine. I mean, I've showed a few things before, and I'll just run through them quickly with Aaron. It's just because it's the lies that people just put out online, and people just eat it up. And I don't know if they're a big channel or who they are, but they will get spread. I mean, this is Martin Odegaard has played more through balls than any other player in the last 2 Premier League seasons, 64. I mean, we just look at that and know it's wrong. We know it's wrong. We've watched him play. So I just did a quick search to find out, just to prove it wrong. This was 2 seasons ago. You got 15 true balls. Last season, 11. So it's just a barefaced lie, and they put it out there, and then people go, "Oh, everything's okay, everything's okay," and just it's not even half. But they'll find a way to dress it up. They'll find, oh well, technically he played this pass and it was blocked, so it didn't count as. You know what I mean? You know the way they will. But I did want to get into just sharing this screen. I'll be very, very quick. Sorry, just oh no, before we go, Views has the Leggett Views. Listen, man, big up for coming on. Absolute legend, as always. Spitting facts as always. And listen, the support is always greatly appreciated. And I have to repeat it again. If anybody hasn't seen the Under the Lens, there's 2 of them. There's one with Alfie and there's one with True Gooner. And it was heartwarming to me to see a couple of young Arsenal fans. If anyone else didn't see it on the panel, they're 22, 23-ish, I'd say, each of them. And they're both, and the same with Tops. Tops are young Arsenal fans as well. That see sense that hasn't been roped in. But what have you got coming up, my man? You want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, just Views on Sport. We're live daily, more time. Probably back with another intervention at a bit of a later time tomorrow, around about 3 o'clock. And then we've got plenty of Under the Lenses coming next week. So just big up everyone tuned in for that. Big up all the legends on the panel. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to everyone. And yeah, man, catch me tomorrow, people. Views on Sport. Big up, man.
Big up, bro.
Big up, Views. Big up, absolute legend. Listen, Views' channel is pinned in the chat, so make sure if you don't already subscribe to him, that you go over and subscribe and show him some love because it does be pumping out the videos. And Gunnar SE, absolute legend, says, "Man, you looking at Block 9 now? Yeah, guess we just have to accept that we are no longer a big club. Our glory days are over, and we're just another mid-table banter club. And Lego Head will never leave." And this is a great point because Views has touched on this before, and I think it's a great way to put it. If they just want us to be run like a QPR or run like a team like that, or Brighton, or just come out and say it, right? Come out and say it. The owner should come out and say, this is what we should be happy with now. But if you do that, well, then drop the season ticket prices. Just stop bringing out merch all the time. You know what I mean? Stop roping in the fans. Make it more accessible. Stop charging 20 quid for a burger. If you want to run us like a mid-table team, stop giving us all this dross about where get excited and all that. If they came out and just admitted it, you go, well, fair enough, now drop your prices, because it's a good point. This is what it feels like sometimes. We're aiming for mid-table players. But I did want to just get into this video here because I covered it on the Full Irish, but there's 100 odd people in the building, so they mightn't have covered it. And this is just to show what we are dealing with excuse me, with the likes of Igal, and I'll just go through them because it's the same shit with him where he contradicts himself, and we went through it, but we'll go through it again just to show here. Let me just get the sound up here.
Penny, I know you and I have spoken.
Now, this is Igal coming in, right? And the first thing he does is tell us all to calm down when we're getting worked up with transfers. Calm down. The transfers are coming. Calm down. Blah, blah, blah. It just shows that he's playing a character, right?
Albert, you always laugh because me and Albert, like, you're correct.
You guys are putting all
us moaning, agreeing, and everyone will be like, I'm turning this off. This is boring. Because debate is healthy, man. Debate is what we want. So, Igal, you've been listening. I know you've been trying to get little into sleep. And with the lighter nights, it's very difficult now. So, big up to you. Well done, mate. And yeah, what would you like to say, man? You've been listening in. Talk to me.
It's the 3rd of June, and you guys are all freaking out. Calm down. Like, I know you probably hear this every transfer window, and you're not happy after every transfer window. But some of the stuff you guys are blaming Arteta for, it has been happening at the club when he.
Okay, right. Now just keep that in mind, right? Calm down. Everybody needs to calm down. And I just want to share this screen now because just give me a split second here. There we go. Igal, right? This is him 5 hours before. 5 hours before on his own channel. Let me just pull it up. 5 hours before on his own channel, okay? Let me just get into it.
Like button, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you want to fast forward to your favorite part, you guys can do that afterwards. I'll make sure I put the timestamps and everything that you guys so you guys know what's going on. But Deluded, what's going on, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. First things first, my stream over.
Guy, today I'm gonna need you to be the more positive, uplifting guy because I kind of feel down. And you know why? Because I'm worried, bro. I'm worried.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried because I'm worried Arsenal's not going to do what it takes to get over the line once again.
People, 5 hours before.
You got him. Oh my God.
5 hours before, right? He said that 5 hours before on his own stream because he's doing it for clicks. The guy is working for clicks. 5 hours before, he's saying exactly what we were saying.
I'm worried that I'm seeing Man City, I'm seeing Chelsea, I'm seeing Liverpool doing things that is making me believe we could be coming in fourth next season.
Now, Aaron was on the stream. Aaron, didn't he have a go at us for saying that, oh, you're acting like Chelsea have already signed these players. You're acting like City have signed these players. Yeah. And this is 5 hours before, my man.
Wow. He's an idiot. Like I said, he contradicted himself in that little segment that he opened up with about 5 or 6 times. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. He contradicted his own point of view with me within like 2 minutes. I even said to him, I was like, you said differently like 2 minutes ago. Dan was like, yeah, to be fair, you did say differently, mate. Like, what's he doing? That's where you don't know how to talk to him. You don't know where or whatever to believe that he says, or you can't take him seriously because it's pointless, isn't it? He's just an idiot. He's a character that I don't like. X in the right hand corner, go away. Do you know what I mean? Go away. And he wouldn't talk to me like it down the boozer because he'd just get told, "Oh God, piss off, mate. Go away. Got no time to listen to you talk. Piss off. Go away."
I think everyone should boycott Dan Potts' and Lee Gunner's channel until they stop this clown from appearing on their shows.
I know, Lawrence, they have to get other people's point of views. They do have to get other people's point of views. Or else
but I mean, I'm all for debate and argument, but I'm not.
But this is the best thing. Sadly, and I said this earlier, Lawrence, out of all the top Gooners, these are the two best they can find, man. These are the two best they can find. It just proves how fucking shallow the pool of top Gooners is when it comes to football knowledge. These are the only two they can find.
I mean, I know a lot of Arsenal fans who are still Arteta in, you know, and I have a debate with them, you know, and it's not intense, you know. We all air our opinion and we agree and disagree, but it's not at the level that this clown produces, you know. And I don't want to tell Lee Gunner and Dan Potts who they should and should not have on their channel, but this is embarrassing them as well because they're giving him the platform to air his opinion. He's not an Arsenal fan. He's not a football fan. He's not a plastic. He's just some sad little TikTok prat who's trying to get airtime. The way he disrespects people that
Yeah, shocking.
Go on to Dan's and Lee's shows. You know, we're Arsenal fans. The way he smirks at them, the way he laughs in their faces, right? Like I said, if he went to my local and acted in the same manner, he'd be on his way to the emergency room with a beer glass in his face.
Yeah.
You know?
See, the thing is, Lawrence, the reason that we sort of do it, and that I'm doing this, I used to say before I sort of mud him on my channel, and I always used to do it sort of in a playful way, call him Barney the Dinosaur and stuff like that. And it was Aaron that said to me, like, you don't know if he's a nice guy. And I said, no, I said he seems like a nice guy. But then I started sharing the screen with him, and he's rude as well, right? So I don't deal with rudeness, man. I don't like it. But what bothers me is that someone like Northside is out there spitting facts every day, man, has half the amount of subscribers as this guy. And this guy, I'd say if you checked his analytics, I'd say about 80 to 90% of them are under 16. So that's why they listen to his crap. They listen to the gal's crap. But the problem with that is that they're going to grow up and be the voice of our club. You know what I mean? So that worries me. It's like when Aaron says about giving up a season ticket, he knows some melt will come in and take it and obliterate our club. So my big issue is that these people are listening to him. And I'm just going to show one more bit here where, and I showed it before, but I'll show it again, where just how he contradicts himself. It just shows that he's only doing it to be like a character, like you say. All right,
maybe been
he cuts across Aaron.
Mendy, if it just meant just focusing on a striker like a Gyokeres and a Rodrygo, and
bin
you know what I mean? I've been a Zubimendi, yeah, I would. I'd rather spend my money on a left wing and a striker. I think we massively need that more than we need the Zubimendi. 150%. That forward line is stale.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's priorities.
Can I tell you, you're the only one laughing means that my opinion's probably sound. Because I've read your opinion the least.
If Partey is staying, we have to prioritise a striker and a left winger before. In my opinion, before prioritising the defensive midfielder.
No, we only have at this moment in time 3 midfielders on the books.
3 midfielders, he says, right? Lewis Skelly, Wanieri,
Lewis Skelly's a left wing.
Zinchenko. He's not a left back. Zinchenko plays 10 for his country. Lewis Skelly is a left 8. Let's get that right before you start carrying on. Let's get that right before you start carrying on. Zinchenko is a 10 for his country. Lewis Skelly's a left 8. Wanieri's a 10. Odegaard's a 10. Royce. Partey. We're swimming in midfielder.
Look at this.
He's a midfield player.
Look at this.
We're swimming in them. It's when I bring up Wanieri, right?
That is all we have.
No, that's not all we have.
It's not.
That's what you're saying. What about Lewis Skelly? What about Wanieri? Where's Wanieri?
Where's Havertz?
What's this?
Ethan is a backup right winger.
Ethan is a backup right winger, right? This is 18 minutes later. 18 minutes later. He puts up his Arsenal team, right? Who's that in midfield? He has Ethan in the 10. The guy is a walking contradiction. He has Ethan in the 10. 18 minutes later. And he's saying that Ethan's a midfielder. So it just proves that he's only going out just to be a character. Jez, I mean, I don't even because I know where you stand on this guy. But my big issue is, right, with these guys, it would be I said to Kenny came when I was messaging him, said, sorry if I cut across. He said, no, you didn't. I said, I'm just making sure because I was getting wound up. And I said I would laugh these guys off if they weren't so damaging to the club. Because he has 33,000 people that listen to what he says. That guy Pincus has 120,000. The Mutant channel have nearly 2 million. I mean, back in the day, this wasn't an issue because the people like that just didn't have a voice because they just get talked over because they don't know what they're talking about. But like, do you think that are you with me that it's actually a lot more damaging than people think, or do you just laugh them off?
I think you have to put it in context. If you actually watch his channel, there's a lot of people that take the piss out of him.
Okay.
Right. So people aren't taking him seriously. He is just doing it. He's got an agenda. He wants to get the big gig, which he ain't ever going to get because he's Canadian and he's got no knowledge of football. He's got no knowledge about Arsenal. He's deluded. He just makes me laugh because I don't listen to a word he says. I've been on channels with him. I was actually supposed to be on that show the other night with you boys on Dan Potts's, but I'd already committed to go on Northside's because Dan asked me to join. I said, sorry, mate, I've already committed to Northside. So look, let's put it right. in real time in a proper North London Arsenal pub, he'd have the shit kicked out of him. Fact. And I know a few people that would love to kick the shit out of him. One of them I've got staying in my house right now because they don't like people like him. They don't like people that want to talk about this club and know nothing. So I just laugh at him and find him amusing because let's be honest, he's harmless.
Yeah.
He's harmless. He has his opinion. All he likes to do is disrespect people by basically going on a channel, shouting his mouth, over talking people. And I think you guys, when you're on there with him, you're too polite. I'd have just told him the other night, shut the fuck up and let me finish. Because you got pricks like that, you've got to be hard and fast. Get in quick, shut their mouth. And that's what you need to do with him because he's nobody. He's a little guy from Canada who doesn't know fuck all about the club. So don't show him any respect. He doesn't show respect to guests on Dan's show. I've been on Lee's show with him. He doesn't show respect.
No.
And I've told him to his face on Dan and Lee's show, shut the fuck up, mate. I'm talking.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do with him. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Sorry.
Go.
I feel sad for him. I feel sad for his mum and dad, right? I feel sorry for his kids. You know, I feel sorry for the poor old tart he knocked up to have those kids. To have that scumbag in their lives, you know. It's embarrassing. Someone should ask him, does he actually read the comments underneath the...
He gets off on it, I think, Lawrence. I think he gets off on it.
You know, I mean, if that was me, thank God I'm not like that. But if that was me, I wouldn't come back on the stream.
Yeah. But I did see what Jez was saying about, you know, like I think for me, it's you know, and I have to like I've said, no, wait, I'm talking, and I've shut him down. I wouldn't cut across him, but if he cuts across me, I will shut him down. And Aaron would be the same. No, wait, yeah, I'm talking. But I think for me is to start getting rude like him. For me, it's about lowering. I don't want to lower myself to his level. I don't know how you feel about it, Aaron, but that for me is not want to lower myself to his level and start smirking and all that sort of stuff. I'll burst out laughing when he says something silly. But there's a difference between someone bursting out laughing at something you say and someone smirking at you. You've said it before that if he walked into your local and said something like that and smirked, like he'd be waiting.
He wouldn't last 5 minutes now. No, he wouldn't. If he went around chatting about football the way he does and then started smirking to people, honestly, they wouldn't respond to it very well, especially after pint 6 or 7. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It just wouldn't happen. He'd have a very, very, very bad day. Let's get that right. Yeah, it's frustrating. Do you know what? Sometimes I can just sit and chill when you've got it covered, Shane, because you was absolutely grilling him on Potsy. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to sit here and let Shane do the work because he's absolutely having it. So it all depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I jump straight down his. Do you know what I mean? So other times I'm just like, what a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? And I sit there and think, I'll just let him embarrass himself. Look, I don't really give a toss what the majority of people think about my opinion on it. I generally don't. But if all of them were saying you ain't got a clue what you're talking about, I would probably reassess whether YouTube's for me. But people can not like me for this or that reason. But if the vast majority of people were going, mate, you don't have a clue about this football club, that would probably make me think, oh shit, yeah, maybe I don't. But he don't care. You're right. I think he likes it. I really do. Yeah. I think he likes
it's
all
any
of that
attention's good attention, isn't it?
Yeah, not for me, man. Not for me. I'm here to talk about football. The club I love. I'm not the most knowledgeable person. I'm not, but I've got enough knowledge to at least be able to hold a good conversation. That man, he just don't.
The way he disrespected Kenny over that season ticket issue was out of order completely. I mean, I'm just glad I couldn't put my hand through the screen because I'd have throttled him.
Yeah,
we was on that one, Shane.
Sorry?
We was on that stream, weren't we? When he was Santa Kenny about the season ticket. I'm sure we was.
I wasn't. I got sent it. I got sent it, and it was just horrendous. It was horrendous. But it is the smart for me. But just to move on, because someone put big up Benjamin Marshall put up a point here, because we were saying about AFTV, and I want to come to tops about this. Saying without AFTV, none of us have a voice. The channel blew up so much in the mid 2010 era, and it's now embarrassing. But they did give us all a voice. Yeah, listen, if we take pops at that channel, we never take away from the way they started. They started with good intentions. They did start with good intentions. You know what I mean? And they became corporate, and it's very. I have no issues with people that do that. If you want to sell out, if you want to do that, fine. But just wear it proudly. You know what I mean? Wear it proudly. That would go for Igal, and that would go for your man Pincus, who supported QPR before he supported Arsenal. You know what I mean? And he's only 22. To me, if you've supported another team and now you support this team, like Luton Town to Arsenal, you kind of lost. You've lost the argument with me straight away, because I can't compute how someone can do that. But Tops, you've got a channel, man. You've got a channel that's doing well. You enjoy what you do. With this sort of AFTV thing, we'll take pops at it, because I think, again, they're damaging to the club because they're peddling that everything's okay. But like, you might remember when they were a decent channel. I don't know what your views on them are, or if you want to speak about it or not. I understand, but I don't know where you stand on this point that was made by Benjamin.
Yeah. I think obviously back in the day, like you said, when they first came about, then they were amazing in terms of like giving a lot of different fans a lot of platforms to speak what they thought about obviously Wenger at the time, in terms of whether it was positive and negative. And I think they had a nice little balance in between of having people debate like which side they were on. And again, it was kind of like a thing where you get to see like everyone's perspective at the time. So whether you were Wenger in or Wenger out, or you wanted him to stay, or you thought he needed more money, you got to see like different kind of elements of fans of what they thought at the time. But yeah, I think obviously slowly over time it's kind of swayed away from that and more gone into, like you said, obviously kind of like characters and stuff like that, which is obviously fine. His channel can do what he wants. And I feel like, again, though, in a roundabout way, it's kind of like helped people like yourself, myself, in terms of having the confidence to build up our own channels and having a platform where we can just say what we want and not have that kind of like restraining order of not being able to say certain things because it's not going to be happy for someone who owns the channel to be said on it. So yeah, I think in a roundabout way, it's kind of like helped us like individually in terms of just create your own like platform, create your own place where you can say what you want to say. And again, listen, I'm up for a debate. If you want to come here and say you think Arteta is the best manager in the world, like Graham Suna said, put your medals on the table. What has he won? What has he done? Like, I love to have a back and forth debate about it and you know, keep it at that. But when obviously you have people like that are just saying it for the sake of it, and then when you actually try and poke holes in their actually like philosophy and what they actually think, they contradict themselves, or they don't really back up what they say properly. That's when again you can just like ring around people. So yeah, for me, I think it started off with good intentions, but again, it's kind of like strayed away from it. But again, I feel like it's allowed yourself, Aaron, Jez, obviously Lawrence as well, to have the obviously confidence and have the kind of confidence to create their own kind of platform. And yeah, we're all smashing it, man. So I think it's probably for the better, to be fair, that we can only like spread out and do our own thing, man. Because again, we just create great content together and we can link up on our own. So yeah, I think it's for the best, to be fair.
That's what it is. Sorry, Lawrence, off you go, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm going to respect someone who thinks Robin van Persie came through the Arsenal Academy.
I know that's the thing, and it is about respect, though, isn't it? You know, like Top said, like we can pick and choose who we go on with, and that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Jez asked me to come on his channel tomorrow night, and I can't wait. We're going to talk about the best Irish players to play for Arsenal, and that's when this whole YouTube thing is amazing. When you're getting in, you know, when Aaron invites me on, or when I was on with you, Tops, or when I get the likes of Lawrence on here and views and stuff like that, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I'm not adverse to having someone that's Arteta in on this channel. It's just I haven't met any of them yet in this that I want to have on the channel. You know what I mean? And I mean that with the greatest respects. It's just that I don't want to do it for clicks. I don't want Igal coming on and reading off his sheet with the little facts he's found out about a player and stuff like that. But I just want to get into this question. And this is really old, Ali D. I apologize. I did start it, but things just, you know, as anyone who hosts will know, things just sort of snowball sometimes. And I will run around quickly with this. So just a question to the panel. Do you guys think Berta's actually doing any difference in the recruitment, or is there Arteta ruling the roost? I don't know where you stand on this, Tops. What do you think? Do you think he's got power, or is he biding his time, or what's he doing? Because I haven't got a clue what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure at the minute, Shane, to be fair. Like, when he first came in, I was excited. I was gassed. I was like, yeah, he's going to come in like with his own like new targets and stuff like that. But obviously, we're seeing the same kind of names linked. Your Nico Williams, your Sesco's, the guys that we've seen season on, season in. And, obviously, that's Arteta pushing it. So for me, I'm going to give him a little bit of time to see what we do this window. Yeah. Obviously, the window's just started. But I want to see how we kind of, not only what plays we get, but how quick we can get the deals done, because we seen how long we took for the Calafiori deal last year. Too long. Marino was like 2 months as well, and these are not even top quality players. So what I want to see, if it is the players that even if I'm not happy with, how swiftly we get them done, because that will see a slight improvement in terms of how we negotiate. And also player sales as well, man. Like, we can't be having the same kind of players like Conga still on the books, Fabio Vieira still on the books. Like, we need some proper fees for these players, and they need to be shipped out, because they're just taking up spots where we're not even going to play him. Reece Nelson, how many loans is this guy going to go on until we actually just ship him out? So for me, I'm looking at Berta, not just in terms of recruitment and like targets, but what he can do in terms of player sales as well. Because again, if we're going to try and strengthen the team as much as possible, we're probably going to need some sales coming into the club. And again, the sooner we can get rid of the likes of Fabio Vieira and Reece Nelson to get some money into the club, so we can strengthen those positions, the better, man. So I'm on the fence. I'll be honest, bro. Like, hopefully he can come in and make a massive impact, because again, what Edu was doing was comical, especially with the Sterling thing last year. Absolutely horrendous. So I'm hoping he can come in. Even if he's not the player, because a lot of people are saying, well, maybe he's just giving Arteta his signing. So it's like, you got no excuses. You can't say, I didn't want Gyokeres and I'm not going to play him. You get your Sesco, and if you fell with him, you're out the door, which I can see that as well, to be fair, because Bert's just got in. But if that does obviously happen, then obviously Arteta needs to be getting rid of as soon as possible if he does obviously fail, because again, we can't be signing all these kind of top players and then you're still keeping in for 2-3 years. So yeah, for me, the jury's out. I'm going to wait to see what he does this obviously transfer window, see what he does in terms of player sales and obviously bringing players in, and then we'll go from there, bro. But fingers crossed he can do a good job, because we need it, man. This is my last hope. I don't have any faith in Arteta or the board, so this is it, guys. Like, Bert is the last chance saloon, or we're finished. It's over. So yeah, man. Hopefully you can get the job done, bro.
Absolutely, absolute facts. And the one thing, and it is because we are so desperate now that we're clutching at straws. But the one thing that I'm sort of thinking, okay, this might be good, is that people are saying about giving Sambi Lokonga a new contract. What are we doing, right? And I'm still just trying to find positives where there probably aren't any. But I do hope that Berta is bringing back all these loans and saying, listen, you better start using these guys now. Yeah. I don't want to see any more injuries. You can play them in the cups. You can rotate them in when we're 4-0 up and you don't get back on again. I'm probably clutching at straws and thinking that this is what he's doing. But Jez, I don't know where you stand on this Berta thing. You've mentioned before, have you ever seen a director of football get this sort of publicity? It's like Arsenal want it done, so people think, oh, we're making moves. Or where do you stand on Berta? Do you think he has power? Has your opinion changed since he's come in and we've seen the same links? Or I don't know, how do you feel on this whole Berta thing?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm holding my breath at the moment with him. I expect big things from him. If he doesn't do what I hope he's going to do, I don't think he'll be here very long. I think he'll be very frustrated. If his arms are tied behind his back by this football club, he's going to fuck off. He's not the sort of man, from what I know, from what I've been told, read about, that wants to be a yes man. So it's going to be interesting to see actually if he can deliver. And I honestly think if he's frustrated, then he's going to go. He'll walk out and say, sod this, I'm off. I'm off back to Italy, or I'm off to Spain. This ain't going to work here for me. That's the sort of character I think he is. But we're going to see. I don't think much is going to happen in this 10-day, 8-day window now. I don't see anything happening of any consequence. So I think it's going to be after the nonsensical European bullshit again. I don't see the point of these stupid competitions, to be honest. But that's football now. So We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jez. I think that if he's been brought in under a different pretense, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that will just be happy to say, okay, I'll just do. He'll just go, right, I'm out of here. I'll just get to this super chat. A couple of super chats after going. Big up to everybody, man. Sending in super chats. So that's everybody that's in the building. I put up that post, 125 in the building. It's absolutely amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing. Mind blowing, to be fair. And I fully appreciate the support. You've been there from the start. I don't think Berta is allowed power this year. Talent pool in Italy, France, and Spain are better than these Hollywood names, says Gianni. Gianni, absolute real one, man. Absolute legend. He offered me to come over and be part of the Napoli family, man. I'm tempted, man. I'm tempted to go over and become part of the Napoli family. Real club, a real club. But listen, I think with the whole thing this year, I think you might be right. And the tops and Jez kind of touched on that maybe he's had to come in and just sort of ease himself in. Okay, you want these two, but I'm Aaron Ware. Just now, man. Just come in, rip everything up and say, this is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing. But again, it's just because we've been so long, and as Aaron has touched on, if we have a big window, this window, we won't have another one for 2 or 3 years because of PSR and stuff like that. So we need the big window now. We need to get in the players that we want right now. And for me, it's just like, I just want instant results. But maybe he's come in and maybe he'll slowly do it. Or maybe we should give him 2 transfer windows, but we shouldn't. We should be a big club, man. We should be rolling like a big club. And big up to Suge, absolute legend. That is Suge, man. Another one of the real ones. Has been there from the start. Absolute legend. He says, big up, gents and Aaron. Aaron's not a gent, man. Look at that. Big up, gents and Aaron. Hit the likes, much respect. Come on, Suge. I know what you meant. You didn't mean as it is. When Gianni did again, man. Gianni's saying Berta isn't in power yet because Hollywood signings aren't his thing. I believe it's the last hurrah for Arteta. I'm hoping so. And Berta's known for getting in gems and stuff like that. But maybe it's because Sesko's young that he might go, okay, maybe another manager will get a song out of him. Maybe he won't. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just not sold on this Sesko thing. A big up, Norms. How are you today? Thanks for the super chat, Gianni and Suge and everybody. And, of course, Danny, who put in the super chat. Absolutely amazing. Blown away by the support. And, yeah, I do agree with that whole Berta thing. I think we just want digital results, Gianni. Like you get at Napoli, my man. But big up to Norms. How are you today, my man?
Well, been a busy one, mate. I'm sorry, I just come off a committee meeting, just planning an event for this Saturday. Doing a walk for prostate cancer. So that's why I've been quite hectic at the moment. So apologies for lateness, but lateness is greatness, as they say. Yeah.
Did you hear that Romano's come out that we're meant to be going for Kepa as our backup?
Yeah, it flashed up on my. It flashed up, and like, you know what? This is why are we not going for a striker? What's going on? What's happening? Is this our 15th?
I don't know what we're doing.
Goalkeeper now, is it?
Can I show? Aaron and Nomsky that thing I showed you earlier on?
Yep.
You see that?
Oh yeah, we're after a new scout.
Well,
yeah,
the Mafia's coming to town.
Good old Top Nosy.
Are we going to get a scout? What, to just come in and agree with Arteta's signings? Maybe it's slowly moving, and I think it was someone pointed out that we're slowly getting rid of all sort of the Arteta's protectors, maybe. But listen, Jez has got a bounce, man. Jez, absolute pleasure as always. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. It's on your show. Have you got anything else coming up? I know that the weather's not great over there, so maybe you'll get a bit more streaming in with the weather. You might be indoors a bit more, but do you want to share out your channel? And again, thank you so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure as always, my man.
It's always a pleasure to come on with all you wonderful people. It's weather's not great here. It's warm, but it's not what it should be for this time of year. So a bit disappointed on that, but hopefully it'll pick up next week. I've got an absolute legend is staying with me right now. Next week, when the other one turns up, from the good old days and his wife tomorrow, we're off down to Lyon next week for a few days. Then we're off to Geneva. So never been to either of those places before. So that'd be nice. So yeah, I'm doing a show tomorrow night about the Irish legends. That's why Shane, I've got you there, mate. Normsky might be joining as well, and I might try and drag Kelly. Unfortunately, can't make tomorrow, but yeah, big up people. Thanks very much, and yeah, it is now Jez's Arsenal. I've changed the name.
Jez's Arsenal,
and there we go. But anyway, gentlemen, it's been enjoyable to all of you, Lawrence, Aaron, Nautsky, Lion Tex, and of course Shane. It's been an honour. Thank you very much for inviting me on, and I'll take care. All of you take care, and speak to you soon.
You too, Jezza. Take care. Absolute legend. Cheers, Jezza. Your presence is always welcome. You're a legend. I just got to get back into this. I'm going to bring Lawrence in. It was the question that we had about Bertha. Do you think that Bertha's here to make a difference, Lawrence, or do you think that he's just there as part of the furniture? I don't know where you stand on it, my man.
I hope he is, because like somebody said in the comment, why would he have taken the job if he wasn't going to have any say in the transfers? You know, I mean, we're going to find out this summer. I mean, if the club doesn't change its stance and it carries on the way it's been carrying on for the last 4 or 5 years, then we know who's actually running the show, and it ain't him. I mean, personally, I still think that if we get off to a bad start next season, I don't think Arteta's going to get through to Christmas. I think he'll be gone end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think we're all just sort of waiting for something real. I think it would be like not an Arteta signing. You know what I mean? I think that would sort of prove to us. But if it's this thing of giving him enough rope to hang himself, I understand it, but I don't know if we have the time. And big up Gianni again, throwing in a super chat. What an absolute legend this guy is, man. Supporting the channel, and as I said, like Aaron, will all go towards a green screen and things like that, and paying for Streamlads or StreamYard and all that stuff, just so I can keep coming on here with you beautiful people and talking football, man, and hopefully entertain you. This is last one for the boys. Sesko's for Arteta. Berta's going to make moves. The scouts that being shown was the guy responsible for the Atleti's second title. Well, there you go. See, so that gives me a bit of hope that maybe he's getting his people in, less of Arteta's people, more of his people. You know what I mean? And it links up perfectly with the Berta question, Aaron. I know that you're the same as me, where you just want to see him rip things up. We just don't have time for this. But I mean, is it something positive that he's getting this guy in to someone that he's worked with, so it's more of his people and less of Arteta's?
I mean, maybe, yeah, it's probably better than just keeping the crap we've got there already, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, maybe. Norms. Oh no, mate. Oh no, it's just.
I know you're feeling, bro.
Mate, it's so depressing, honestly. Like, everyone's sort of saying, yeah, it's only the 5th of June, but I keep saying, and I'll keep saying it. The market isn't dictated by date; it's dictated by what your rivals are doing in the market. Now, if no one else is making a signing, it's a slow market. It's early. There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
But everyone else is making signings and big signings, and we are not. We're being left behind.
And key signings as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And the thing is, what Shane was saying about enough rope to for Arteta to hang himself. The problem is whilst I get that, it could happen in December, and we could have a new manager come in. But the problem is then they've got Sesko and Zubamendi to deal with. Or maybe a Nico Williams-esque, just a player like that probably ain't going to be any good for Arsenal. We're going to be 200 million down. And guess what's going to happen next summer? We're going to go, oh, yeah, the new manager needs a summer window to get it right. And you know what they're going to say? No, we just spent 80 million on the Sesko. You're not getting another striker. No, you're not getting this. You're not getting that. We've spent 200 mil last year. We need to balance the books this year. And look what he's got to get rid of, the poor new manager next summer, should that happen. We're just leaving him with more dross. So whilst I totally get it, yeah, these signings might be the last of him, but also these signings are still going to be here for a while. They're still here. Arteta signings are still here. Whilst the manager could not be, we're still left with more of his crap, and that for me, that's just it's unacceptable, man. I'm sitting there and just thinking, just do a better job now. Don't leave us with the Seskos. I mean, he's proven it. He got 16 in the Austrian league. He went to a better league, slightly in the Bundesliga, scored 14 goals, and this season he got 13. He's not even on an upward trajectory, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He's regressing in terms of his numbers. Do you know what I mean? But Igao got, we can jump higher. Oh, well, we don't even cross the ball in. And we've just sold our best crosser of the ball for free. We've just let him go for free. Oh, it's just very, very, very dull, miserable sort of window for me. And I said this on Dan Potts's, and there were 7 of us at the time. Anyone looking forward to next season? Nah. No. Look at everyone's faces. No. No one.
No.
Ask the same to a Liverpool fan. They're somersaulting. They're bouncing all around the screen like a pinball. They're buzzing over there. Look at us. We're the miserable five. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, that's why we try and brighten it up with some. But it's hard, man. It's hard work out here in these airplanes. It's hard work going into the Matrix, Normski. We have to do it. We have to do it, man. We have to do it to try and bring the truth. But it's hard work, man. You know what I mean? Normski's sending me these videos. I'm using them for Top Gun or Trust, and Normski, I can't wait for him to grill them. And I do be telling the people, I'll always sort of finish with like hair clippers guy or something like that, just to try and laugh our arse off at them. Like, it's still embarrassing and they're still damaging. But Aaron made a great point there, Normski. And it's the same. Every transfer window has worked the same for time. For time, it's worked the same. Once a big player goes, it snowballs. It's a reactionary thing. So other clubs start buying big players and another big player. I know now we can sign him and we can sign him. And we're just standing on the outside looking in, going, sure, we'll wait our time. Even though Sesko's not great, someone could even nick in and buy him. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like Sporting could lose Gyokeres for money and go, we need to replace him. Let's get Sesko. And he go, well, Arsenal's still dragging their heels. I'll go to them. Not that it would be a bad thing, but we'd still be left with nothing. I mean, what are we doing here as a club, man? Why are we always like this? Is it because Arteta just has his two and he won't have anyone else, or is he too rigid? I don't know, man.
It's so hard to know what's going on. As I said, I wish I was a fly on the wall and just to really see what's going on. Until we actually see the first person come through the door, that will kind of determine and tell us where things are going in direction in terms of who is really running the ship. And you keep hearing the rumors coming out, you know, Sesko. I think there's a thing that's come out about Victor Gyokeres is cheaper, but it would shift Arsenal's transfer policy.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, when I see things like that, I just want to throw my phone. Do you know what I mean? It's just annoying that we're not making. It's just literally rumor after rumor after rumor, and then you're hearing Man City making signings and they're bringing in key players that will make a difference. Yeah, Liverpool, key players, Man City. You know, it's annoying. It's just absolutely annoying. And I really don't know what to make of this whole thing with, you know, between Berta and Arteta, what this tug of war that's going on. And ideally, if we could get Gyokeres, but when you're hearing that he might prefer a move to Man United, I'm like, Man United. So what is it? Why he would go to Man United who finished 15th or 16th? What is? If we've got the money, you know, we're now likely to go and spend 38 million on a 17-year-old, only to loan him back to Genk. And I'm thinking we could use that money elsewhere. Why are we going for another? Why are we going for another project?
Yeah,
this guy right here over my shoulder, the devil over my shoulder. That's why the big strikers won't come, and that's why we're going for projects.
And we just signed this kid from Blackburn for $1 million.
Yeah.
That million's fine though. I don't mind that. But...
Yeah, you don't mind that. But like, with that norms as well.
38 million is a lot of money to be
crazy.
Spending on a player.
Go on, sorry, Norm.
Go on.
Do you know what? That's the signing you make, that £38 million geezer. If your squad's complete, you're winning stuff left, right, and centre.
I would expect that.
Exactly. You've got a squad for the next
That's a sign in City, mate.
That's winning stuff.
That's a sign in City, isn't it?
When they're on top, The future is not now what we need. No way. Especially given the fact that he plays in exactly the same position as Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman. I mean, it's bloody pointless.
It don't make sense.
Who he won't play either. He won't even play Nwaneri. Why are we signing? Nwaneri's one of the. I'm sure other clubs are looking at Nwaneri, like Barcelona's and stuff, going, this guy has potential to be. And we're signing someone with potential. And we have Max Dowman, who people are saying might even be better than Nwaneri. It's just, I don't know, man. Is it because we're so close to the club and we don't know the ins and outs as detailed as we do about our other clubs? But I don't think it is. I think we are comical. And it brings me to Gianni's point again, actually. And listen, or Danny, sorry, not Danny. Danny, absolute legend, by the way, man. Unbelievable to support the show. Absolute guy, man. Absolute guy. Playing You Never Walk Alone. I'm going to bring Tops in on this. At the Arsenal training grounds, the most sackable offence by far, right? And it always been funny, right? And it is comical. But this is what bothers me about the Top Gooners when they say, oh, but Arteta took us from the banter era, right? He took us from the banter era. He put us right back in it and worse worse than it's ever been with this and the light bulb and the lemons. The worst thing that happened to one of the worst things that happened to us in his reign was him getting those cameras in with him for a season for that thing on Prime when he knew then. I'd say he wasn't even thinking about tactics at home. He was thinking about what can I do to look like a genius, come in with all these gimmicks, and I'll come in with a light bulb and this and that. And I'll quickly go through the panel because I think I've asked it before, but I do want to know, and especially to the older people on the panel. But I'll start with Tops. Do you remember a time as an Arsenal fan where we've been more of a joke than we are now? When they say they took us out of the banter. Do you remember a time when we had the hair clippers guy and all these lads making silly fucking? I can't remember a time in my time when we were more of a laughing stock. Can you?
You know what? You know what it is with obviously the time we've got now. I feel like what makes it worse than obviously because we've had worse times in terms of being low, like in low positions. But I think what makes it worse now is the fact that there's a lot of expectation on the team, not from only obviously Arsenal fans, but rival fans as well. So that's why it makes it even worse when we go trophyless, because it's like we know we rate some of your players. We rate Saka, we rate Rice, we rate Gabriel Saliba. And how can you still not win a League Cup? How can you still not win an FA Cup? And that's what makes it even worse when you see the likes of Spurs, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, all these teams winning trophies, and then you'll see our team, and we ain't got a trophy to miss in. Like, we ain't got nothing to show for all this kind of progression or hard work or progress or phases. We ain't got nothing to show for it. So I think from that perspective, that's what makes it so frustrating during this period of time, and that's what makes me so frustrated in this period of time more than probably other periods, because you can kind of accept when your team's not very good. You kind of, even though it hurts, you kind of like, you know what, we've not got good players, we need to rebuild, we need to build up this team. But when you know your team is good enough to achieve certain targets, that's what makes it more frustrating for you as a fan, because it's like, we just need a few adjustments, a few different kind of arrangements in the team, and then we're there. And then you know the window of opportunity to do it gets smaller and smaller each season, because again, Manchester City are not going to have a bad season like they did last season, this season, because they're already making reinforcements, proper signings. Liverpool are strengthening up top of the players that they've already got. So you're looking at Arsenal, and that's why obviously Aaron said we're all doom and gloom, because it's like, even though obviously the transfer window just started, we can't see us making enough signings and quality signings to leapfrog the likes of Liverpool to make sure we keep Man City at bay, because they're going to be coming full fit Rodri, Renders in midfield. They're going to be having a different dynamic to their team that we've probably not seen in a quite a long while, especially because they're going to be replacing the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. So, yeah, man, I think from a point of view of just being laughed at by, I'm having Spurs fans laugh at me, bro. Spurs! I've never seen them lift anything major in my lifetime until this season. I'm having them laugh at me. Crystal Palace fans laugh at me. Newcastle fans who've not won anything in 70 years laugh at me. It's crazy. This season's crazy, man. It's probably been one of the worst in terms of just bantering against my team. And the thing is, my team's a decent team, but we just don't win anything. So again, I can't really say anything back. I can't even say we've won a Prem last year or a couple of seasons ago, or we won the champs a couple of. I got nothing to fall back on. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna firm it. I'm just gonna eat it, take the L. So yeah, from that perspective, Shane, I think, yeah, this is probably the lowest I've felt, just because I know the team can achieve decent things and it's just not delivering on a consistent basis. And I'm having to watch all the teams lift silverware that I've not seen my team lift in God knows how long. So, yeah, very disappointing, my friend. Very disappointing.
Brilliant. Brilliantly put. Lawrence, you've been through it before with Arsenal. You've had the good times, the bad. I'm not saying that there has been worse times. We all agreed earlier that Arteta is the worst manager we've had for the money he's spent and everything he's done. But as in terms of being a laughing stock, can you remember a time when we had such an embarrassing fan base like this, or you know, is that why we're the 3%?
Many. I remember the time when we got knocked out of the UEFA Cup by a bunch of Belgian part-timers called Winter Slag. You know, we were supposed to wipe the floor with them. Everybody was expecting a cricket score. We lost the first game.
As well.
We lost the first game 1-0. We brought them back to Highbury. They scored straight from the kickoff, and we battered them for 89 minutes. And we could only get 2 goals, which meant we lost on the away goals rule. We absolutely battered them. I remember getting knocked out of the League Cup by Walsall at Highbury, which marked the beginning of the end of the Terry Neal era. You know, I went up to York City when they knocked us out the FA Cup I'd just come out of hospital after breaking my leg. And I went all the way up to bloody York City on crutches when it was snowing. And we lost 1-0 in the last minute when Steve Williams gave away a penalty. So I've been there, you know, I've witnessed the bad. But what this manager is doing to this team is just unbelievable. It's you know, it's like that thing I sent out the other day about all the London teams that have won trophies this season. Tottenham are having a Europa party. Chelsea are having a conference party. Palace are having an FA Cup party. Arsenal, we've got Thomas party. You know,
not for long. If I tell you,
yeah, I know. It's just, and then to add insult to injury, I've been reading today that Man City and Barcelona are checking out Max Dowman.
Ooh.
You know, I swear that you couldn't get the script in a Carry On movie. I mean, I don't know if any of you remember the Carry On movies.
Oh yeah,
from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, matron.
But this is how this club's been run. I mean, I have nightmares that one day I'm going to go to the Emirates Stadium. I'm going to go up to the director's boardroom and I'm going to see Sid James, Hattie Jakes, and Barbara Windsor in there.
Oh man, I think I genuinely think that she messed me up as a kid, and that's why I was into MILFs for so long, man. I think it was Barbara Windsor that did that to me.
She was all right, man.
Yeah, she was savage, man. She was savage. Yeah. Oh, matron. Remember that guy in it as well?
Yeah.
We are Carry On film now. That's what we are. It is. It's comical. It is comical. And
I mean, honestly, you couldn't make this shit up. You know, Hollywood couldn't even make a movie about the way that this club's being run at the moment.
Yeah. There is a lot of stuff that I see, and I say you couldn't write it. You know what I mean? You couldn't write it. Aaron, you're one of the sort of the, I'll say the most hardcore fans I know. You're a season ticket holder, like you said before. You wake up, first thing you think of. I'm the same, and it's just the last few years. I'm not waking up in a good mood thinking about them. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm waking up going, oh God, what am I going to find on Sky Sports today, or what am I going to see with this? As that guy brought out a new song with his hair clippers, are we going to be embarrassed even more? In terms of like, we've been in worse situations, of course we have. Right, but again, as a banter club, as sort of having to witness these guys, I know the social media has a lot to do with it, but our fans used to be classy and they used to be, you know, tribal and stuff like that. Just now, it's just, is it you're at the ground all the time? Is it like that there? Is it really all these soy boys and these, you know, man buns and all that sort of stuff? Is that what's happening? Have we really sunk down to that point?
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the Atlantic with the Titanic, mate. I'm telling you, yeah, all the way down. That's how low we've sank. Honestly, we're right at the bottom. Ridiculous. Every single. I mean, just take the two times this season. Raheem Sterling, North London derby, booed him off. I can't think what game it was, but towards the end of the season, Odegaard came off. He didn't go off the usual way. He had to walk out and then all the way around the pitch. And I booed him. And there was a geezer in front of me, older boy, which was more frustrating for me. He was about 55, 60. And he's looked at me going, you're disgusting for booing your captain and all that. I was like, wow, man, you should know better, bro. Like, I wasn't verbally or anything aggressive to him. I was like, mate, you should know better. You've seen captains. You've seen great Arsenal teams. This ain't a great Arsenal team, and that ain't a great captain. I'm constantly, when I do things, I get pelters. I just don't always turn around and have a go. Otherwise, I'll probably end up in a fight every week. But honestly, they're idiots. All you get is that people, when you go into a toilet or whatever, they're all watching it in the not in the turnstiles, in the thingy at what's it called, the concourse. They're all watching it in there. I'm thinking, you're drinking beers and watching it on the telly. There's a stadium there. They're playing live. What are you doing here? They've all got their clear bags because they've just spent 500 quid in the club store. They've all got that. All having their little merry way, all taking selfies and that, all like that by the pitch. Sometimes even in the game, I've said to about 2 or 3 of them in the last couple of years, I'm like, piss off. I'm trying to watch a game. Fucking go away. I'm trying to watch the game. What are you taking selfies for? Go away. Different when you're a little kid. Do you know what I mean? I accept that. But not when you're like 18, 19. I'm like, what are you doing? Go away. Do it at half time or something. Get out my face. It's frustrating. And that's what it's like, mate. It's a welcome to 2025 thing. They're all like it. And Arsenal are the coolest, hippest club for all the kids to go to because that's what we do. We congregate around all of these little morons. They prey on them, this football club, with a merch, with all of this, all their little things that they do. Do you know what I mean? They pray for it. Ridiculous, mate. It's not going to change. Arsenal Football Club and Mikel Arteta, it's like head vampire. You know when you kill the head vampire, all the others go. That's what Mikel Arteta is. When he goes, the rest of them will be like, oh, Jesus Christ, what happened here? What year are we in? 2025. What? I thought it was December 21st, 2019. What's going on here? What's going on? I was like, yeah, you've missed 5.5 years of your life, son. Yeah, that's what's happened. Mikel Arteta's screwed you over for the last decade and a bit. That's what'll happen. Head vampire, mate. I'm telling you. Evil little git.
That's a new one. Head vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is like that, though. And I was going to say that before. It's like, sorry, Aaron, go on.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, he's just a bloodsucker of any energy that you've got about you. That's what he does. He's sucked all the life out of me. Pause. That's what he's done. No energy towards Arsenal. That's positive whatsoever. He's just completely sapped me of everything. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Head vampire.
Yeah. It is that. It's like those movies, like with the sort of the post-apocalyptic ones where they have to find a cure, and once I Am Legend, you find the cure, you give it to one of them, and then like you said, everybody wakes up and goes, "What happened? What happened?" But Norski, they're like Aaron's saying, with the way the fan base have turned, and quite quickly, really, if you think about it. So I know it's sort of 7-8 years. It's really sort of, but is it a masterstroke by the owners with all the merch every few months and the trendy merch and making us a trendy club, that you bring in fans that I don't want to call them spineless, but that will never sort of. You say you often say that we're just a culture of mediocrity now, right? And we are, but it's been very sort of calculated that they've done it. That if we twist it to that point, then these people will never rise up and go against us because they've just had it pumped into them from the Matrix that middle of the road is fine. It's all about the journey, guys. It's all about the journey, guys. I mean, is it a masterstroke or did it happen by mistake? Do you think that someone was thinking this is what we need to do?
I feel it's a masterstroke, mate. Like these guys. I mean, the owners don't really care about winning. As long as they get their money, as long as they finish in that top four, as long as the merch is sold, as long as the PR search and everything, that's all taken care of. That's it. And so it goes back to, it's at the end of the day, it's the owners now you have to blame for this. I mean, at the very, very beginning of Arteta's tenure, he was the one that started talking about PR and processes and all of that. And from then, you never used to hear a bit about PR and processes until he came in. And literally, it's like trust the process. That was the first one. Trust the process. Then it was progression, and then it was whatever, and it just went on and went on and went on and went on. It's just, this is what's happened now. And the problem, the reason why we're like this now, why we feel like this now, is because there have been bad times. Because if you go back to when, I won't name that certain other channel, yeah, obviously I might be swearing on this channel, but when they were for the fans, the media companies hated them. Yeah, they absolutely hated him because they were talking up and that, and it's like, oh, they can't be talking like this against Wenger and what, blah 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 blah, and there was a media sort of thing on them. Then it started to switch, and then you have what is like media lovey-dovey darlings, 30 plus, wearing brown shoes, pointed toe, and bags, you name it. The sort of kind of characters that we've got now, they all look the same, they sound the same, they want to get in the media, and it's a worse time now because of social media. And the problem is we're this culture of mediocrity, because we're so bad, we will not us, but those fans out there will protect that, right? And that's why we're the most hated fans. We're the most hated fans because we've accepted mediocrity, and even when we've lost the game, we're going to find some positive out of it. Yeah, it's never Arteta's fault. Yeah, it's never Arteta's fault. It's either the owners, or the players. Unless it's a good game, then Arteta's done well. But aside from that, he is like a cult figure. He's coming to this club, and that whole PR process thing has now seeped into the minds of those young fans. And as Aaron said, even some of the older fans that you would expect. Like, why? I'm booing the guy, and you should know better because you've seen what Arsenal have done back in the day, winning and stuff like that. But social media is the thing that's is really made this whole thing really toxic. And there's a very few of us, like us here on this channel, and other channels where we're trying to bring the standards up. And every time we try, and we're told to shut up, is that why are you talking like this? Why are you being so negative? No, it's not being negative. It's that we've seen Arsenal at their best, and we want to get back to those days of greatness. Yeah, that's all we want. We just want standards, but they call us negative. Yeah, because they just accept mediocrity. That's what it is at the end of the day.
Amazing, honestly, and this is the thing. So again, it's clever that it's a masterstroke that they hit you with, they get personal with you. Oh, you're negative. Just when it's just standards, man. And it's like I said earlier, what View said. If they just came out and admitted this is what we are now, fine. If we're just going to be a Brighton or a Bournemouth or something like that, that's fine. If you're honest about it, let me know where I stand. But if we're just going to be a middle of the road team that never win cups, never bother with the domestic cups, then just tell us, but then drop the season ticket prices, drop the prices of the burgers, stop bringing out merch, and treat us like one of the smaller clubs. One of the biggest, most expensive tickets in the world, man. And big up to Matty, the Southern Gooner, absolute legend, is in the house. Or big up to you, man. He's saying, this is the Day of the Dead. What day top Gooners kill. Gets up and kills. Exactly. They bite them once and then they turn into top Gooners, man. And they're spreading their illness. But Lauren's putting in super chats while he's on the panel. If that's not support, I don't know what is, man. He's saying, I remember Winterslag in the UEFA Cup, one of the darkest days of my life. I wonder if that team still even around, Winterslag? Because if they are, I want a jersey with Winterslag on it, man. I have to get a jersey with Winterslag.
I want a summer slag, mate. That's what I want.
Yeah. You're just happy to get a slag, let alone a winter slag.
Yeah. Any slag. Summer slags are better, man. They wear mini skirts.
I think they changed the name to Genk.
Is that who it is?
I think they joined up with another team and they became Genk.
Okay.
We're getting that player from Winterslag then.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what if he came into the team, that's what I keep saying. But I'd like me retro jerseys, man. I have to find a Winterslag jersey. Well, listen, Danny again, man. Danny, you're an unbelievable man. Supporting the channel, you support all the channels. You're an absolute legend, man. I swear to God, it's very humbling to have people like this in. But everybody in the chat, man, it's still mind blowing. We're still 120 people, man. I swear to God, for someone that just started, just over a little less than 4 months ago, to come on and talk to like-minded people. I really am humbled and blown away. Just imagine being a baller, going through the ranks at an animal, and that sucker talking in the changing room about who invented electricity. Shambles. And this is a great point, because I say this about the youngsters, man. I said it about Wanyeri, and Views called it, and Aaron called it, and we all sort of knew the second Saka came back that he was just going to get binned, right? We could see it coming. Why didn't he play in the 10 when Odegaard was out? Oh, he's a bit young, he's not ready for that position. There's a lot more responsibility. But he doesn't run away from the ball for one. You know what I mean? Our captain runs away from the ball. But if you were a youngster, if you were Wanyeri, and he missed training or he's late for training, even if that's true, I can't blame the chap, because he could turn up for training 2 hours early, leave 2 hours later, be the best player on the pitch. He knows he's never getting in ahead of Odegaard. He knows it. So where's the motivation for a young player coming through the ranks at Arsenal? There's no motivation there, because this manager, we went through it before, Norms, that the difference with Guardiola and with Ferguson and Wenger and all these lads. Wenger had a 35-man squad, as Jezza says, with the year we got to the final of the Champions League. I guarantee you every one of those players felt like they were part of the team. You know what I mean? They thought, I'll come in and I'll do a job. I always refer to Alex Ferguson turning around. Andy Cole put in a transfer request because Van Nistelrooy was there and he was balling out and he was dropped. And Andy Cole was one of those players I need to start, which is great. I like that in a player. But Ferguson told him, trust me, you will be used near the end of the season. He did the same to Sheringham in 99. Sheringham was getting annoyed because York and Cole were balling out. He said, I promise you were going to make a difference at the end of the season. What's he do? Sheringham comes on, scores the goal in the FA Cup final and scores a goal in the Champions League final. He made him feel like he was part of the team. Where with Arteta, he has his 11 and everyone else is out in the cold. They're out in the cold. I doubt he even talks to them. Zinchenko, all these lads, yeah, you were here, you did a job, but I don't need you anymore. And this is, you cannot run a club that way. Not these days. Back when you had one sub, maybe. you could do that. You know what I mean? When you had a tiny little squad and the players were either in or out, and then you play reserve football, and then you call up the first team and you go back to reserve football. But listen, that's just the way this club is run, and sadly, I think that this is one of the, if not the golden generation of youngsters that we've had. Maybe back with the when all the Irish lads came through, and I'm not being biased, but when Liam Brady and David O'Leary and all came through, I suppose that could be compared to it. But with Nwaneri and Skelly, and especially Saka, the three of them, these are top players, man. Potential to be top players. And I'll just run around with this quickly, and then I will look to wrap it up. But tops, I mean, can you remember a period with Arsenal when we had like we can even count? I suppose you could count Smith Rowe in it as well. Not Nketiah. I mean, he's not good. Smith Rowe, I always liked. I thought he was going to be a great player. But I genuinely think that Saka, if we had say Wenger still here, or a Hansi Flick, or any attacking manager, that his numbers would be even higher. And then secondly, his hamstring wouldn't have ripped off the bone because he wouldn't have played 75 games in a row. I think that if he was let off the leash even more, we'd have it. Same with Nwaneri and same with Skelly. Do you think that, because one of the reasons that I want Arteta gone is for this, that these players could end up leaving, and now there's talk of someone looking at Max Dowman. Do you think that if we had a different manager, that these players would be even higher than they are now? And do you think that if he's here long, that he could absolutely ruin them?
Potentially, man. Potentially. I feel like with Arteta, I feel like he wants to play obviously both sides in terms of he wants to use Ethan Nwaneri as Odegaard backup, but then when people like us question why he's not playing any games, he's saying, well, he's only 17. Well, if he's only 17, 18, why are you using him as the backup option? Like, you can't have it both ways. You either got to give him obviously backup option minutes, or you treat him like a 17-year-old and obviously ease him into the team. And yeah, I just think obviously how he treats certain youngsters is probably a bit strange compared to others, because you look, yeah, and you said that obviously the likes of Smith Rowe as well, he was the main reason why probably he kind of kept his job, because again, the rumors were if he lost that Chelsea game, he would have been out, and he kind of just played him out of necessity, really, because Willian was injured at the time. So we just threw him against Chelsea. We won 3-1, and then he went on a run, and obviously we came from 15th to 8th, obviously in his full debut season. So yeah, when you look at that, and you look at the fact that Saka's been his best player since he's probably been at the club, the youngsters and the academy have kind of just dragged him through. So I don't understand why he doesn't trust them a bit more. I don't understand why he doesn't trust the likes of Ethan Nwaneri to play more minutes. Every time he's come on, I don't know about you guys, I've been wowed by his actual quality, his intelligence, the fact he can play multiple positions, the goals he scored from long range, short range, the big games he scored in a knockout Champions League game against PSV away from home at 17. So, and it was a banging goal as well. So that's just one of the youngsters. And then you go to Lewis Skelly, and again, he kind of just fell onto it because Calafiori's been injured for the majority of the season. So kind of played Lewis Skelly, and then we've all realized he's actually better than Calafiori defensively, going forward, passing through the lines. He can score goals, he can create as well. So yeah, when you look at that, you think, why are you not giving more of our youngsters? I mean, maybe we've got some more in the academy that we just don't know of, because obviously Arteta's not giving a chance. So yeah, it's a strange one, man. I feel like, again, like you said, with Saka, in terms of getting the best out of him, you see, and I'm not obviously to defend Martinelli, but you see how much defensive work both of these wingers have to do, tracking back, working hard. He's always telling them to get back, and that is going to play a massive part in terms of what you can do going forward. You're going to be restricted. You're not going to be able to obviously get past your fullback as much because you're knackered, because you're just defending all the time. So I do think going into next season, he has to incorporate that in terms of our wingers, and not only that, in terms of our young players, because again, the likes of Ethan Nwaneri, the fact that he's wowing everything is because he's got that freedom to do what he wants. He's not going to just, you know what I mean, pass it back to the fullback and just track back. He's going to try and take on his man, put it top bins if he can, try and take on 2-3 players, whip one into the far corner. Like, that's the kind of spontaneity you need when you're a youngster. And for me, you can't have Arteta try and coach that out of him. So I think he needs to trust them more. He needs to play them more, and we need to try and incorporate more of them into the team, because if he's not going to buy the ready-made players we need for certain positions, we could have saved 45 mil on Calafiori if we just gave Lewis Skelly a chance earlier. Do you know what I mean? Because again, if we ask everyone on the panel who's our starting choice left back, I don't think anyone's saying Calafiori. Everyone's saying Lewis Skelly, the teenager, the 18-year-old, the guy that we came from the academy. So if that's one position, imagine the other positions we can do, again, similar with the academy players. So yeah, I think Arteta needs to loosen the reins, not only on our academy players, but the players that we've got in the team already, the attacking players, because you can still get levels out of Saka. Even though I think we need to upgrade on Martinelli, I still think you can get better out of Martinelli as well on the left. I feel like under a new coach, a different coach, you look at Luis Enrique at PSG, the guy is a wizard. Honestly, the amount he's getting out of those players, and he's getting them to not only obviously be creative going forward, but they are tracking back. They are doing their defensive work. So it means it doesn't mean that you can just obviously negate the attacking part just because you got to focus on being defensive. You can do both. So that's definitely something in Arteta's coaching game he has to improve on next season, not only for the young players but for the first team as well, bro. To be honest.
Yeah, no, this is tops as always, absolute facts, and I do agree. Young players, you need to let them express themselves. Like we've said it before that I was on Lee's channel. We were watching the Barcelona Inter game, and Yamal was doing Yamal things, and Lee said, "Oh man, you can't coach that." And I said, "Yeah, but you can coach it out of him. You can coach it out of him." And I saw Wanyeri on the last time he played for us, and he came on for a few minutes. Can't remember who was against. It might have been Bournemouth at home, maybe. And he took a touch outside the box, and he did the thing where he shifts inside. I said, "Here we go. He's going to smack it." And he stopped and laid it backwards. And I said, "Oh, man, what has happened here?" But listen, I will bring you in second rounds. I just want to bring Aaron on this because he was responding in the chat. Lynn Simpson says, in my humble opinion, and listen, she's been respectful. No issues here with that. You come in, you make your point. If it's respectful, we have no issues with that. You're not real fans. That's a bit harsh. But because you would back the club through good and bad. But these fans would be something totally different if Arsenal won the Champions League or the Premier League. Would all change. I'll come in just quickly before Aaron, because the real fans are the ones that want the best for the club. And you're talking to people here that have beat the games, the people that live and breathe this club. It's the fans that are accepting it are the cardboard ones who don't mind what's happening, because their whole week isn't ruined when they lose, like ours is. And their whole week isn't ruined when we're getting terrible news about the club. We're just demanding standards. Well, Aaron, you were having a good, polite debate with Lynn there. I just want to let you come in on this, because I think I know your stance on this, but I'll open the floor to you, Aaron.
Yeah, now well and good, but people never know other people's circumstances, so I'm happy to reveal some of my young kids. I've got a missus, and every single time I go watch Arsenal, which is every week, by the way, because I've got a season ticket, I decide to spend my thousands of pounds to go and follow them. I also choose to give up a lot of time with my two young kids and my missus. I follow them at home, sometimes away, but not all the time. In Europe also, I spend a lot of my money and a lot of my time going to follow Arsenal. So don't really know what you constitute as a real fan, but I think that's probably there or thereabouts as real as you can get it in terms of effort that I put into the club as well as financially. Also, there is a point to be made that I want us to win. You're also saying about, if we'd have won the Premier League or Champions League, things might be slightly different. Well, yeah, of course they would, because we would have won a Premier League or a Champions League. But the very fact of the matter is we haven't. I'm all for given a new manager a set period of time. And unfortunately, I'm not willing to wait any longer than 2 or 3 years if I can't see anything. Fair dues to him. He came in after 6 months, won an FA Cup, and I thought, wow, maybe not great domestically, but let's see what he's got next season. He finished 8th next season, got embarrassed in Europe. Then he didn't finish in Europe. Then next season, we were humbled again domestically in all competitions and in Europe. It gets to the point where, right, okay, now I'm going to the Emirates and being excited quite often because we was absolutely attacking teams from the off. Every single game, I'm leaving the Emirates thinking, wow, this is pretty good. That was 3 seasons ago, by the way. And then we bottled it. And then next season, we bottled it again. And then we bottled it again. For me, that's not good enough. 5 years is a very, very, very long time for all of our lives. And guess what? This year, we're not getting any better. We're finishing further away from the teams. We're getting embarrassed by Manchester United at home in the Cup. In both semi-finals, which I'm sure you'll bring up, we got to 2 semi-finals. And in the Champions League, well, guess what? We actually found our level this year because we lost all 4 of them legs. We were humiliated home and away by the same score against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. And then we went to PSG, which I was at, by the way, and we lost the leg within 3 minutes. Absolutely embarrassing. Lost all 4 of them. We weren't in that competition or in the Carabao Cup, probably not even 20 minutes out of the whole 360 minutes that were played. We probably weren't even in that competition, and both of them for about 20 minutes. It's embarrassing. So when you're saying about, what's a real fan constitute? Do you know what? I don't know whether you're a real fan or not because I've only got one message to go by. But I'll tell you what, your way of thinking is probably more damage to the football club, putting a little plaster over heart surgery than what I'm going through. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe you need surgery. You're like, nah, just put a Band-Aid over it. You'll be fine. Let's just pretend it's all good. Let's just do that. Turn around and blind ourselves by the truth. And the truth is, this football club's going nowhere under this manager, and I have 5 years of facts to prove it. There you go. What are we doing here?
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Aaron spitting facts, of course. Aaron spitting facts. Lawrence, when did it become wrong for Arsenal fans to have standards?
the moment Arteta was made manager. This is for Lynn Simpson and Bulgarian Guna have been posting in the comments, right? This is my Arsenal shirt, and on the front there's a cannon on it. There's not a picture of a Spanish clown with his name on it. All of us on this panel, and most of the people in the room, we support Arsenal FC. We do not follow Arteta FC. There's no such thing as Arteta FC. There's no picture of a Spanish clown on this shirt. This is the shirt of a team that's going to be 140 years old next year. Okay, it wasn't founded in 2019. Okay, and Lynn, with due respect to you, you're stuck in 2004 if you keep talking about the Invincibles. Last time I looked on my calendar, it said the year was 2025. You're living in the past. You're a prime example of a plastic deluded AKB ostrich that I keep going on about. You wear Arteta tinted specs all the time because you won't have a bad word said against this clown. Okay? You've got your head stuck so far in the sand you can't face reality. You're like a junkie, you're like an alcoholic, you're like a gambler. You know you can't admit, or you refuse to admit there's a problem, but deep down inside you know there is a problem, but you can't face facts.
Brilliant, Lawrence. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not Arteta FC. And I think, and I'll bring you in, Normski, and then I will wrap it up because we're coming up to 3 hours again. I'm mind blown by all the people in the chat. You're still holding the crowd, and I hope you're having as good a time as I am because I'm blown away by the support, and obviously the world class panel have been unbelievable. But Normski, I mean,
listen,
we're not even asking for much standards, are we, Norms? I mean, we just wanted to league up this year.
I'm sure Lynn and the Bulgarian guy, mate. I don't know. Were they Unai Emery in, or did they want him out?
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be interested to know your views on Unai Emery because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I keep going back to the fact is that we want standards. You're telling us that we're moaning. We're not moaning. We just want standards. I'm not here about mediocrity. Yeah, 2004. If somebody has said to me in 2004, right, guess what, Norms? You're never, ever going to win the Premier League ever again. Yeah? You're going not only that, you're gonna get a manager that talks about light bulbs and squeezing lemons. Right? No, if somebody said that to me in 2000, because remember, social media wasn't about that kind of social media. If somebody said that, obviously you'd be joking. 2004, you're expecting to push on, and yes, that was under Wenger. Yeah, Wenger said top 4 was like a trophy. We're now saying today that second place now is like a trophy. They will defend this to the hill. We've challenged. How many times are you going to challenge? When are we going to get it over the line? That's all we're asking. Get it over the line. If you're not the manager to do it, then pass the baton on to someone else that can do it.
Yes.
All we're asking for.
Well, no, so listen, I'm so glad that listen. This is the beauty of it. You know, everybody was respectful. They have their Lynn as their opinion, and that's fine. That's all well and good. She came in. She respectfully said it. She respectfully said her question. She didn't say, "Oh, you guys are dicks" or anything like that. You know, it was respectfully said. But I went to a panel and I was just blown away because this is if like someone put up, if Aaron's not a real fan, then there is no such thing. You know what I mean? And that goes for Normsy, it goes for Lawrence, and it goes for Tops. And I can personally tell you, it goes for myself. You know what I mean? But listen, guys, I am going to round it off. It's been absolutely mind blowing. I think it's the best panel show I've ever done. And it's all down to the chat, and it's all down to the wonderful panel, of course. But Tops, what have you got coming up, my man? And big up to T-Chan. So all the channels are linked, by the way. So make sure you're subscribing to everyone on the panel. We're here for your entertainment, but yous are here to support us as well. But Tops, what have you got coming up, my man?
Yeah, big up Shane for having me on. Yeah, I'm gonna have obviously a transfer show tomorrow, talking about obviously all transfers apart from Arsenal because we're not doing anything. But yeah, that should be fun. And then I'll probably do some watch-alongs on the weekend. I know obviously the Nation League's final is on Sunday, so I'll probably do a watch-along for that. I think England are playing as well, so I'll probably do a quick watch-along for that as well, man. So yeah, just trying to keep active, trying to keep the channel busy as well. So yeah, man. But yeah, I want to say I'll big up to the chat, big up to the panel, Aaron, Nomsky, Lawrence, yourself, man. It's been a pleasure to be on with you guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't wait to come back on again.
Hey, legend, man. And the pleasure was all mine. The pleasure was all mine, and I mean that from the heart. Lawrence, mate, have you got any panels coming up, or what's the story with you, my friend?
Unfortunately, I've got to go to the hospital for a few checkups, so I'm not going to be able to make the Aaron show tomorrow. So basically, I've got a 3 weeks. So if anyone is doing a stream at the weekend or early part of next week, you can reach me at my Instagram account, and I'm more than willing to appear on your show.
Big up, Lawrence. Listen, I hope it's nothing too serious, man. You can always give me a bell or something if you want to have a chat tomorrow. I'm always at the end of a phone. But big up for coming on again. Absolute legend. I think you've been on every show. I think you've been on every Bruised Banana, man. So you're one of the mainstays now.
I'm like a rash. I'm like a rash, Shane. You can't get rid of me.
Nah, man. Listen. I get rashes, and rashes are irritating, man. You're the complete opposite to that, man. You're an absolute gent. That's all I ask.
His rashes 10 points. His rashes 10 points.
I'll tell you, man, these top gooners give me a rash. They give me a rash, man. That's why I'm trying to scratch them all out, man. They say not to scratch a rash, but I'll scratch them out. I'll scratch them all out. Aaron, pleasure as always, mate.
Yeah, man.
Pleasure as always, my man. Thanks for coming on. You were one of the first out there to bring me on, and you brought me on a solo, and you gave me a little launch pad to get me face out there. So I'll always be appreciative of that. And you're always at the end of the phone if I need some advice about this YouTube game. But thanks for coming on. And what have you got coming up? My man?
I've got a cheeky little morning show at 9:30 in the morning. If I wake up, it depends. I'm always a little bit thingy with them. Now I'll be there. I'll be there at 9:30. And then, of course, in the evening is the call-in show. So make sure people are there for that. Yeah, buzzing. Thank you very much for having me on, Shane. Come on, brother. Always wicked to share a panel with you legends. You know that. And world-class chat. Big up to you, lot, man. First class.
Big up. Come on. Cheers, Aaron. Absolute legend. And I'll read this out just because Lynn saying you're misunderstanding my point. I come from Newcastle where money was hard for fans to go and watch. And that is why I look at football differently, because Northerners are more grateful. No, listen, Newcastle fans they're a loyal bunch, and I get that. Newcastle fans are a very loyal bunch. But to be fair, that was their first cup in however long it was, where Arsenal have been winning things. So it is a bit different for us to demand a bit more, I think. And I'll put it to you this way: if you go on and win an FA Cup next year or a league or something like that, and you do it for a few years, wait till the next generation. Wait till the next generation come along, and they'll be going, I remember winning leagues and stuff, if you start to go downhill. So I understand your point, and fair play to you for being respectful, Lynn. It's always appreciated. Normski, what have you got coming up, my man? Are you making any more trips into the Matrix first?
I certainly will be. And I will bring out the facts and get them over to you as we speak. So you might see another one popping up on your show tomorrow. So see what happens. But no, big up to the panel, big up to the world-class chat using Aaron's phrase there.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so tomorrow, I know, and there's Captain Black there. So look at that. Arteta, it's full his glory. So tomorrow, obviously I was meant to be on, I just realized I was meant to be on the show with Jez tomorrow, and also Aaron's thing. So it's a bit touch and go because I'm quite busy with this planning of this sponsored walk thing. So it's a bit touch and go. That's why I said to Jez, I'll see how it goes. I'll finalize it. But if I do happen to come on Aaron's show, it'll probably be quite late. I know you're running your shows late, so I might be quite late. Then on Monday, the Hangover show. Then I think I'm on the Bruised Banana. So it's just. Of
course you are, Normski.
Yeah, I don't get enough of Norms, mate.
Market opportunity, man. Market opportunity. I have to have Normski on whenever I can, man. He's one of the realest ones out there. Listen, Normski, you're an absolute gent.
It gets busy out there, but
we all want him.
Busy, but you're highly sought after, Normski. You're a star player, man.
Yeah, no, really appreciate you coming on the channel Yeah, I'm just waiting for Tops to invite me on his. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too good, man. Definitely.
Come
You,
on, Tom.
Aaron, Lawrence, the lot you, right? You're definitely coming on. Sure.
You think you're better than me, huh?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I will be back, of course, for the full Irish tomorrow. Me and Aaron and Views have the morning sewn up. We have your mornings covered. You can get about 5 hours of viewing content out of the three of us. Come on. You know it's all good stuff. But I will be back, of course, with a full Irish. And then I'll be on Chez's tomorrow night. I think it's at 8